Let's get into it. It's crime o'clock, yeah, feel that sound. Typically unique when the truth comes out. Tick-tock, won't stop, let the facts talk. Pull up real close, yeah, it's crime o'clock. Question, whole story change. No fear my voice, no need to shout. Paper speaks when you read it out. If the math's off, I'll circle twice. Truth ain't loud, but it ain't nice. Yeah. Read it again. It's crime o'clock, yeah. Feel that sound. Typically unique when the truth comes out. Tick tock, won't stop. Let the facts talk. Pull up real close, yeah. It's crime o'clock. They sell a narrative if I sell receipts. Courtroom quiet but the pages speak. Word for word, no added spin. Let it stand, yeah, let that sink in. Screenshot save, timeline's tight. Missing pieces keep me up at night. If they say elected, I say why. If they say case closed, I say try. No rush here, we do it right. Truth don't bend for the likes of hype. If you came for noise, you in the wrong spot. This is evidence, this is crime o'clock. Clock, clock, clock. Stay with me. This isn't background noise. This is pattern recognition. This is documents. This is crime o'clock. It's crime o'clock, yeah. Feel that sound. Typically unique when the truth comes out. Tick tock, won't stop. Let the facts talk. Say it with me now. Crime o'clock. You're early. If you're listening, you're paying attention. Show starts now.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Crime O'Clock on Typically Unique. How's everybody doing today? I am doing good. Weather is nice outside. Still not warm enough for me yet, but it's not raining or snowing. Clock it. My daughter teaches me all those things. I have to show you guys what I got. Look at this. Look at this. Can you see it? What is it got? It says, you don't question Gerald. You don't question Gerald. I was so happy to get this. Oh my gosh. I can't wait to wear it out in public and see if anybody knows the story. Thanks to, I think it was Italian Girl that shared with me. Of course, lots of places make this t-shirt, but I got it from an Etsy seller. Beach Babe. I'm obsessed. I'm obsessed with Gerald. So I'll let you guys know if anybody in public knows what it is. And speaking of Italian Girl, I haven't seen her in a while. Have you guys seen her in any of the chats? I hope she's okay. Oh my goodness. What are you guys saying? Uh-oh. What's going on, Skull? Message me about that. So, Beach Babe, I'm glad you shared the Gerald story with me. And then my daughter came home yesterday and she was like, did you hear about the cornhole champion that killed somebody, shot somebody with a gun? I'm like, what? And I mean, the way my daughter told it to me, we're going to be very respectful today about this story because the perpetrator is a quadruple amputee. So when my daughter was telling me this story, I mean, mad respect for this guy for overcoming all the obstacles he's had in his life with being a quadruple amputee. But in all fairness and equality, I was dying laughing because because he's a cornhole champion. And I'm like, how? But we'll watch videos of that today to see how that is possible. And then she's like, yeah. And he shot somebody. And then I'm like, again, how? And then she's like, while he was driving a car. That just sent me over the edge. So we're going to look at that story today and see how all of that happened. And it doesn't seem as cut and dry as the narrative, talk about narratives, are telling. So as we listen to that story, we'll be talking about those things. I went to the eye doctor yesterday. Someone slammed me in a comment about my glasses. These are just readers, and I've been wearing them forever just so I can see some things. Okay. So sorry if they're distracting, like the comment I got said. I don't know if so I am getting prescription glasses. I cannot wait till they come in because my eye health is good, but my eyesight, oh my God, you guys, I have to get triple trifocals. So my poor little eyeballs are working hard over here. So hopefully in a week or two, I will have those and I'll show them off to you guys. And oh, it was bad. Like I had a comment. I was going to leave it almost. If you are listening and you do enjoy what I share and enjoy the channel here, and any creators, always go check their comments out, not the live chat, but comments they get. And if you feel like defending them, have at it. Have at it. I was almost going to leave it because whatever, say what you want. I don't care. Got to have thick skin over here to do this stuff. But it was really bad. So I did delete it, but I'm going to leave them up, I guess, next time. Now I'm just inviting it, right? Oh, my goodness. All right. So what else has been going on? Oh, I planted my garden seeds. I planted so much stuff. Oh my gosh. I've got squash, zucchini, cucumbers, lots of herbs like basil and parsley and lots of mint. I like to make mojitos in the summertime, so I plant lots of mint. And I'm planting lemon balm. I did it last year too. That's supposed to be really good in a tea. It's good for I think weight loss. Lemon balm. It's like a mint. It looks like a mint plant, but it's different. And they are sprouted already. My whole kitchen windowsill is just tiny little pots of plants that are starting to sprout. So those won't go outside till May. So they get so big, it just takes up my whole house. It's crazy. And one other just personal update. Oh, Skull. Yeah, I don't want to get into beef, though. Skull said I can reply in a video. I know. I don't want to get into that. Trying to avoid drama over here. Blue-eyed butterfly lemon balm tea is amazing. Yes, it's really good for you. So what else are you guys saying? Weatherman said to wait until Easter, so I'm waiting. I do not plant my garden outside until and it's got to be after the 1st of May. It's usually after Mother's Day, I believe, because we will get frosts up until then. So I wait. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, you guys are putting lots of supportive comments in the chat. I appreciate that. Yeah. So not talking about Idaho 4 today. I'm working on Idaho 4 stuff. So one of my biggest thorns in my side, one of the biggest questions I've had, you can let me know in the chat if I should give it up, but when we're talking about the unknown male DNA in the house, we know we have unknown male B, unknown male C, unknown male D, and unknown male E is Brian Koberger's father. So B, C, and D. B, we know where it comes from. D, we know where it comes from. C is, to me, a mystery. So if you know anybody that has figured that out, please let me know in the chat. Yes, Witchy was never give up on the unknown DNA. So I am putting together an episode for tomorrow on that. I'm going through all kinds of documents and I'm gonna match up photos with what I'm finding, but that unknown male C is confusing. It's item 37.1 and 37.2, which came from a different house. Came from 1127, which is Jack D's house. So I mean, I'm thinking the way it's worded in one part of the documents, it makes it seem like it matches back to the house, to something in the house, but I can't find that. So then part of me is like, well, what if it just is what it is? Like it's just 37.1 and 37.2 are male C and it's in Jack D's house. But then I'm like, why? Like why how are they connecting it to the crime is my question then. So that's why I'm focusing on that. Like I'm trying to figure that out. Even if it's, to come to a conclusion that we can't find a conclusion in the documents, and to me, that's a major problem. That's a major problem that needs answered. Major question that needs answered. And know anyone that has figured what out? Unknown male cDNA skull. Where is it located in the crime house? Oh, Christina, no worries, no worries. I know it's school time. It's school time. All right, so we're going to start off with, oh, did I write his last name down? Dayton Weber. I hashtagged it in the title. Dayton Weber. Poor kid, young adult in his 20s, I believe. We're going to learn the history of how he became a quadruple amputee. And his history of becoming a cornhole champion and now turned murderer. So, I had another update before we get into that. One other update. Aaron Spencer, remember the sheriff or the guy in Arkansas, Lone Oak County, I believe, that realized his daughter had been taken out of his house and chased the truck down and ended up shooting and killing the man that took her, the predator, convicted predator that was out. He ran for the Republican primary spot to run for sheriff, which that election will be in November, should be. He is going to have a pre-trial hearing in April. So if that is streamed, we'll be watching that. And then his official trial date is, I want to say June. Yeah, June 22nd. His official trial is supposed to start. However, it might be a week earlier, like early June. If his attorney and his attorney is currently working on another trial. If that ends sooner, then his trial will go to court sooner. And April 29th is the pretrial hearing that I'm looking for. So things that'll be coming up. I put up a whiteboard on my wall to keep track of all these cases because I forget them. So I'll have them up there so I can keep track and make sure we keep updating. I love doing that. All right. Dayton Weber. We're going to listen to this story and talk about it as we go. Let me say hi to everybody first. Who we got in here? Skull. Hello, Ro. Beach Babe. I was talking to you. Go up and scroll down. I didn't go all the way to the top. So if I miss you, I'm sorry. Sleuther75. Hello, hello. Tina Call. Hi. Welcome. Tomboy. Who else did I see in here? Did anybody reply to me about Italian Girl? Which he was. Hello. Blue-eyed butterfly. Megastar. Blue Devil. Hello. Tomboy, you are so in. All right. You haven't seen her. Yeah. I don't know. I have to look. I don't know if she joined Discord or not. I have to try to send out a message. We miss you guys when you don't show up in chat for a while. I want to make sure everybody's okay. All right.
Dayton Weber here. He's a story of inspiration to so many people, a quadruple amputee turned pro cornhole player who didn't let a physical disability stop him from living to the fullest.
10-4 should be a white sedan, a male was shot in the head, number 2 male, red shirt.
But now he's accused in a brutal killing. What deputies say happened inside his car that turned this motivational speaker into an alleged murderer. We're on the case presented by Law and Crime. I'm Chris Stewart. All right, hey guys, real quick, I want to tell you about this app, and it's going to be a huge help for you. It's called Upside. It gets you cash back.
About an app. Thank you. All right.
Full amputee, pro cornhole player, accused of shooting and killing a friend who was riding with him in a car.
What's going on, guys? Today I'm going to be showing you how I crank back my crossbow.
This is Dayton Weber. He's 27 years old and he's from Charles County, Maryland, which is an area south of Washington, D.C. As we're recording this, Dayton is being transferred back to his home state after he was arrested in Virginia. Authorities say he shot and killed a man who was riding in his SUV, then allegedly dumped his body on the side of the road before he took off.
Someone was shot, 51, 2236.
Now, look, it is shocking what deputies are alleging Weber did.
He had a Tesla SUV, you guys. That cannot be cheap. He must have got paid for being a cornhole champion. Tesla SUV.
Did as he drove his car with 3 passengers inside. Not just the crime, but the alleged aftermath that led to a manhunt across state lines. But before we talk about the crime, we got to talk about Dayton Weber, who this person is and what made him such an inspirational story to so many people, at least before what deputies say happened on Saturday night. You're looking at a video here of Weber competing in a cornhole competition. He posted this to his TikTok. So Weber was a professional in the sport or activity that a lot of us do at tailgates and barbecues.
I mean, you got to give it to him. He's not using, sometimes he does use prosthetic legs. I haven't seen him with prosthetics on his arms, but he's not using anything, no adaptive devices or anything. So, wow.
He would play cornhole by propelling himself forward with a bag to throw it. He does not have arms and he does not have legs, but he was really good at cornhole. In fact, according to
Oh my God, Skull, you seriously don't know what cornhole is? So, Skull, here in the Midwest, in the summertime, or actually anywhere, they even have indoor places. It's a board that is angled, and you have one on one side of your yard and one on the other side, like facing each other, but there's a good distance in between them. And you stand by one board and your partner stands down at the other board, and you play against another pair of people. And you have, is it 4 bean bags? I mean, I play it, but I'm not like, super into it. I think you get 4 bean bags and you toss it, and there's a hole in the board, and you're trying to get the beanbag in the hole, and then you play up to a certain score, and it is fun. It is fun. So I didn't know there was I guess there's contests for everything, right? Now you got to go play cornhole.
ESPN in 2020, Weber was named the best cornhole player in all of Maryland. That is of all players across the state, not just people with disabilities. Now, ESPN actually did a 6-minute feature on Dayton in 2023. And in that story, Dayton's family says when he was 10 months old, he got a bacterial infection that led to sepsis, and it nearly killed him. But in an effort to save his life, they had to amputate his arms and his legs.
Wait, how old did they say he was?
His family says when he was 10 months old, he got a
Wow, 10 months old, you guys. Oh my goodness, 10 months old, a bacterial infection. Oh, Jesus.
bacterial infection that led to sepsis, and it nearly killed him. But in an effort to save his life, they had to amputate his arms and his legs.
Like that second shot a little better, don't you?
What are you going to
Now, what made Dayton's life story so special is that Dayton went on to live his life like anyone would. In fact, he probably does more than a lot of people do. He's an avid outdoorsman. He often posted videos on social media showing him out hunting with bows and guns.
Hi, Jessie Lynn. I mean, that's some endurance right there.
And here he is with a gun strapped to his back, climbing up into a tree stand while he's out hunting. But cornhole is really where Dayton became a national story. He told ESPN that he would compete in dozens of tournaments a month. And then in 2023, he got a spot in the big time, the American Cornhole League. This is like the major leagues for people who throw bags. Dayton said his life motto was "The world won't wait." But now that award-winning smile, it's been replaced with what looks like a grin in his mugshot. And it is chilling when you think of what he is.
So quick update. Hi, Jessie Lynn. This person, Dayton Weber, is a quadruple amputee. And so they're just kind of giving his backstory. He became a cornhole champion despite all of his physical disabilities. He's a hunter. He is well adept at using guns, and he has been charged for murdering, I believe it's a friend who was in the front seat of his car while they were driving at night. And there were also 2 other passengers in the back seat who were witnesses. So this isn't really like a straightforward, there's a lot of questions with this case. It's not really straightforward of what happened. So I mean, I think it's interesting just having, a quadruple amputee in this situation to begin with, but I also think the crime is going to be interesting to follow.
accused of, that would be the facial expression he would give the camera.
That's his mug shot right there. That's the expression he chose to give for his mug shot. So kind of little smug, little smirk.
Someone was shot. 52D1, 2236. I'm still waiting on a call, but it sounds like they're in a vehicle covered in blood, possibly going to CRMC, but I'm still.
Okay. I'm still waiting on a call to see, but it sounds like they're in a vehicle covered in blood, possibly going to CRMC, but I'm still trying to get further.
Trying to get further.
So let's break down what Dayton is accused of doing. He was driving in a car, his own SUV. He's driving. There were 3 people inside. They're going through Charles County, Maryland.
All right. I'm going to pause it here and I'm going to give you some background information. So let's do this. Give me 1 second. Wow. Don't go to YouTube and type in cornhole because this is all you will get is his story. Here you go.
Here to learn some cornhole basics? Whether you're 9 or 90, cornhole is a fun game for anyone and easy to learn. All you need is a set of cornhole boards, bags, and some space to air.
My cornhole boards, excuse me, look just like this. Someone made them. Oh, wait, no, Carlos bought them. But we call our backyard Amputee Island. So ours has like an island beachy scene on them. And for years now, I've been saying I was going to use my Cricut machine to put Amputee Island on them. But yeah, you personalize them to what you like.
Them out. To get started, place your boards at a throwable distance away from each other. Official ACA rules state 27 feet front edge to front edge. If you're playing for fun, find a distance that works for all players. Begin play by tossing the bag underhand at the opposite boards. Alternate tossing until each team has thrown all 4 bags. Keep in mind, your feet must stay behind the leading edge of the board when throwing. 1 point is awarded for each bag that lands on a board, and 3 points for landing the bag in the hole. Cornhole uses cancellation scoring, meaning you.
There you go. That's it in a nutshell. Skull's gonna run out and get a cornhole game now. It's always good to learn new things. All right, let's get his story. This is what happened.
So let's break down what Dayton is accused of doing. He was driving in a car, his own SUV. He's driving. There were 3 people inside. They're going through Charles County, Maryland, and police were waved down around 10:30 on Saturday night by 2 people on the side of the road who said they were in that vehicle driven by Weber. Deputies say that Weber got into an argument with the person who was riding shotgun.
10-4 should be a white sedan, and male was shot in the head. Number 2 male, red shirt.
Extra 4, I'm about to pull up. You 10-3.
So deputies get waved down by these 2 people on the side of the road. And they have this incredible story, terrifying, of what Weber allegedly did inside the vehicle.
Okay, so right there, this is going to be our first. Where's it at? Right here.
Bombastic side eye. Criminal offensive side eye.
Okay. How do the 2 witnesses in the back seat of the car get out of the car? So that's the first question. Okay. So they witnessed this. They were in the car when it happened. They get out. Were they forced out? Did he threaten them out? Are they a part of it? Are they, because the question's going to become, why didn't they stop it in the first place? Okay. So we're going to need to find out more about these 2 witnesses eventually.
The person who was riding shotgun because of an argument. And The issue, though, at that point was they didn't have Weber, the deputies, and they didn't have the SUV, and they also didn't have a body. Now, roughly 2 hours later, there was a 911 call that came in from someone who said a body had been dumped in their front yard, which was just about a 10-minute drive away.
Okay. So Dayton here takes off in the vehicle, his Tesla SUV, having shot the passenger. The backseat two passengers are out of the SUV. They flag down the cop. He takes off. So the cops show up because apparently they get flagged down. They just happen to be driving by. That's what they made it seem like. 2 hours go by. 2 hours before a resident only 10 minutes away calls 911 and says there's a body on my front lawn. So apparently the cops didn't make it 10 minutes down the road to search for the body or to look for the SUV, because it sounds like he just threw the body out onto a front lawn as he's driving away. And he did it only 10 minutes away from where he actually shot him. But it took them 2 hours to realize that. So
from where those two people waved deputies down. Now, that body was of a 27-year-old man who deputies have identified as Bradrick Michael Wells.
Skull.
He was dead.
Hi, Logan. Logan in here. Is Bronx Tales listening? She is gonna have, there she is. Thanks for hitting that like button. Bronx Tales is gonna have an amazing show tonight. I know it's at, is it 6:30 Central Time? So that's 5:30 Eastern Time. Is it 6 or 6:30? I'm gonna be looking for it. So if you can go ahead and drop your link to that live tonight if you want, Bronx, and then we will I'm excited for that. I can't wait. Is it, it's 5:30 Eastern Time, right? Or did you change it to 5:30 5:30 Central? Oh, so it's 4:30 Eastern Time, I believe. I think I have that right. We'll be looking for that. Okay, so a lot of people are like, how can he handle a gun? So, I mean, he does it all the time. He's very capable.
All right, before we get back to this case, I do have some big news to share because we finally launched our...
Nope.
In the wake of this story breaking, this video that Weber posted to his YouTube page has been getting a lot of attention. It shows Weber loading and firing a 9mm handgun despite not having hands. Now, on Saturday night, the witnesses who waved the deputies down claimed that they were able to get out of Weber's Tesla when he pulled over to the side of the road after allegedly shooting Wells. Weber allegedly asked the two passengers to help dump Wells' body. The two passengers say they refused. Then, after they got out of the car, Weber sped off and allegedly dumped that body down the street. Now, after that, Weber vanished.
Thank you, Tomboy. On the screen, I pinned the times for Logan's show tonight.
Dayton Weber, no direction of travel.
I look out local for that area. Just definitely believe this to be a shooting area. A suspect that shot the head of the vehicle, which has close injury, is going to be a white Tesla. White Tesla. When you guys are responding to that area, keep a lookout.
Eventually, Weber was found more than 100 miles away in Charlottesville, Virginia. It's about a 2.5-hour drive from where all of this took place in Charles County, Maryland. Now, deputies say that Weber was arrested at a hospital in Virginia where he was being treated for a medical issue.
Okay. So here's another part of the story that we're going to have to wait to find some more information about. He was able to drive for 2.5 hours to get away from the scene, but was discovered at a hospital. Fighting for Truth 57. Hello. So I haven't heard what he was being treated for in the hospital. Did he like get an injury from the firing of the weapon? It said there was a fight. I don't know if they described it as an argument or a fight between him and the friend. So was it injuries from a physical fight? A lot of people are, well, I don't know if a lot of people, but you would speculate, is he going to claim self-defense? Lots of questions about this.
This is the mugshot that was taken by authorities in Virginia. Weber was arrested and charged as a fugitive from justice in Virginia. He is expected to be returned to Maryland, where he will be charged with first-degree murder, second-degree murder, and other related charges, according to the Charles County Sheriff. Now, deputies say that Weber and the 3 people who were in his car, they all knew each other. It's unclear what Dayton's side to the story is. And of course, he is innocent until proven guilty. Now, this case, because of who Dayton Weber is, because of the disability that he has, it's raised a lot of questions about how all of this went down. How could it go down? We found this Facebook post. It's by a friend of Dayton's. And I think it's an important read because it does raise some of the questions that you may be having when you first saw this story come across your social media feed. That post says, quote, "So let's make some sense of this situation. And hear me out, people. How does a quad amputated person drive a car, pull a trigger, and drop off?"
All right, I'm going to read this. So it says, so let's make some sense of this situation and hear me out, people. How does a quad amputated person drive a car, pull a trigger, and drop off someone in a front yard with 2 others in the back seat of the car and have 0 help? So that's like the first question. Were those witnesses actually accomplices or not? How long was he trying to gain access to this firearm before it was discharged? So where was he keeping this gun, right? It would one second, Dago. It would, where was the gun? Because you would think it would have taken time to get it out, be fumbling. The people in the back seat would have noticed it and then, you know, been able to intervene is the thing. Hey, Dago, how are you?
Hello.
What's going on today?
Not a whole lot. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, you sound good.
Okay. Thank you.
So thanks for coming up.
Sorry, I just now saw it. I was in the midst of doing stuff here and finally got moving to the computer system and
Totally.
here I am.
And yeah, thanks. I put Idaho 4 on pause today because I'm still like researching and digging and it's taken me some time. So,
Well, there's some new things I think we're all looking into. So yeah.
right. Yep, for sure. So what I'm talking about, have you heard about this cornhole champion, the quadriplegic guy? Not quadriplegic, he's a quadruple amputee.
Cornhole? No.
So I was saying at the beginning, we're gonna do a little recap, you guys, and then we'll go back to what we were talking about. Hey, Rock Chalk, good to see you. So my daughter comes home and tells me this story yesterday, and you know, not to be disrespectful, but I was like, we were laughing. Like, I'm like, what happened? So he's doesn't have hands, doesn't have feet, quadruple amputee, but he's very capable of things, like lots of perseverance, inspiring story. He got some kind of bacterial infection when he was like 10 months old. That's why he ended up this way. So it's a sad story.
Right.
But he's a cornhole champion. Okay. So first I'm like, how does he do that? And we were showing video clips of him. He can do it. He's good. And then he was driving a car. So I was like, okay, I know they make adaptive devices for that. He shot the passenger in the head because they got in a fight while he was driving. You're like, how did he do that? How is he able to do that? And there were 2 witnesses in the back seat that got out of the car somehow. So we don't know how. That's where I'm at in the story. All we know is he was either arguing or fighting with the passenger. There were 2 people in the back seat. So the thing that I'm reading right now is somebody's comment from like a social media page, and it brings up some good questions.
Mm-hmm.
Where do you have that gun?
Yeah. I almost don't want to answer that question.
I mean, because you would think there would be some fumbling involved in trying to get that out, and
considering there's not many options there. Yeah.
Right. And so then does that give the people in the back seat time to stop it before it happens?
Right.
Yeah. So
Right.
I feel like this is going to be a case it might not be as cut and dry as it looks. I don't know. There's some questions because then he drives down the road. The backseat people get out. He drives down the road. He throws the body on a front lawn, keeps driving 2.5 hours to a hospital, and they catch him. They arrest him in the hospital. So that's another question. Like, how did he get injured?
This one's got me thrown for a loop. I'll be honest with you. I don't really know what to say at this point, but okay.
I know.
We'll just go there.
I know. I had to cover it. It's crazy. So like, did he get hurt from like blowback or whatever from the weapon? Like maybe, like that? Or did they really have a physical fight and he got hurt from that? That's
right.
Crazy.
Yeah. And yes, Luther, I'm stumped. I'm gonna
the jokes are gonna be ridiculous. The jokes are gonna be ridiculous. I'm sorry.
Not their fault. Not their fault at all.
All right. So let me finish reading this statement because it brings up some more of these questions. Okay. So how long was he trying to gain access to this firearm before it was discharged? How long did the other individuals watch him get the gun and take aim? Why did the 2 witnesses in the back seat not stop this from happening? Even if they were stationary, so like if he stopped the car, I guess, and this happened, it still takes time for someone who had I'm sorry. It still takes time for someone who has no arms and no legs to make all this happen without someone stopping it. I mean, there is something to this story that just does not add up. Oh boy, here we go. There are no excuses for the events that took place, and nor am I trying to defend anyone, but please help me make sense of the situation. I'm sorry for the loss of the family and friends, and not a single person deserves to lose their life over any situation. Because I'm wondering if he's going to claim self-defense. All right. So this is just like a random social media post. So since I just read it, I'm going to skip past him reading it.
Someone in a front yard.
Go ahead.
Sorry. Where did it happen again?
Oh, that's a good question. Where did they
The events that took place in
Don't worry about it. We'll figure it out.
Yeah, I forget. I know he drove to West Virginia, 2.5 hours away.
Okay.
So somewhere over on the East Coast.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I'll have to back it up later to see, but good question.
nor am I trying to defend anyone, but please help me make sense of the situation. I'm sorry for the loss of the family and friends, and not a single person deserves to lose their life over any situation. This post is not to start an argument or because I'm heartless, but please, former chief investigator, great to have you on Law and Crime. I think a lot of people with this story, first off, it's just a major double take on the headline, just trying to understand that part of it. But then I think trying to visualize how this is possible, to be honest, just
the questions we're going to get are
yeah, that's why I keep. Yeah. Oh, shut up, tomboy.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
You guys are just wrong. I'm going to say it right now. You're nuts.
So I did do like a little disclaimer at the beginning of the show, explaining like, his early life is and the accomplishments that he's made are an inspiring story, lots of perseverance. And I just said, like, in the name of equality, it's still funny. So
the guy's a criminal anyway, right?
Apparently alleged, he's alleged. Yeah, he's arrested for murder. So yeah.
So it is what it is.
It's funny. It's funny. That's it.
Some of these comments are killing me though. That right there, I can't stand Tomboy right now. I just can't. I'm gonna be quiet and sit over here.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Okay.
like, we know he's overcome a lot in his life.
Right.
You do still see, and we'll talk about the YouTube video of him firing a gun. You're still thinking, like, how does this go down inside of this vehicle, allegedly, considering the disabilities that this man has?
Right. So I read the allegations and that wow headline that took us all, I think took the internet and social media by storm yesterday. Now, my mind went to adaptive devices, thinking, okay, well, I know there's adaptive devices for assisting people in driving vehicles. And then I started thinking about it and I'm like, well, I think there's actually adaptive devices for shooting a firearm. And then I saw some of the videos and that kind of changed things then too.
Right. And you think about, and first let's just talk about him, because you look at, there's the video of him climbing up a tree stand,
right?
Which is, he's got a rifle on his back.
You guys, I'm going to have to get up and go get tissue because my eyes are watering from laughing. Oh my goodness. I don't know weapons, so I don't, Dago, if you observe anything that looks like an adaptive device on these weapons, let me know, because I
was going to ask if he's got any prosthetics or anything to help him do this, because how the hell is he pulling the trigger?
He's it almost seems, I wonder if he has a little part that is able to do some of that, because I did look when they showed another clip of him shooting a smaller like handgun. It does look like he can get in there for
Like
the
he's
trigger,
like maybe a little nub or something on one of his.
yeah. I think you can kind of see it there, the top arm on the ladder. Does it look like?
That's what I was just looking at. That's why I had my glasses. And Tomboy, if you don't shut up and leave me alone, I cannot respond to you. I can't. Okay.
TTV. What is this? TTV.
Oh my God.
Mystified. Yeah.
There might be like a little something there, Kim. Like he may be able to have learned how to use to do stuff like that. You know what I mean?
Right. And as far as prosthetics, the only thing I've seen so far and what I've watched is that he will use prosthetic legs. Doesn't seem like
Okay.
often. I don't think often. But I haven't seen anything on his hands.
I can't. Mystified, please. Oh my
That's
God.
a good question right here, Rock Chalk. Why was he traveling with a gun?
Yeah, exactly. Was it like something he kept because of his situation, maybe to defend himself?
Yeah.
Is it something he had that he kept in there because he was an avid hunter at different times, but there's only certain times you hunt. So that's a great question in itself. Why did you have a weapon? Yes.
Yep. Yep.
Tomboy.
Now what did she put?
I can't.
Oh.
He's a hunter, which like that's very impressive. And impressive is a tough word, I think, in this story too, based on what he's accused of. But then like the video, and I don't believe that law enforcement were clear on the type of gun that was used in this case, allegedly, but we see the video of him firing a 9mm. And I know we were talking before this, like just even being able to handle the kickback, which I think for people who don't handle firearms, you don't think about the kickback because movies typically don't show you like the kickback, but like that's a real thing.
See it? There's like a little thing there.
So he's able to like just a normal gun, no changes to it, get in there and pull that trigger. And he's balancing it on his like forearm part.
Yeah, he's basically just holding it like this. And
yeah.
That whatever that little thing is what he's using, it seems, to pull the trigger. Oh my God.
We need to name
Scully. Bro. Stop it right now.
Oh, good luck, Witchy was.
Witchy.
You're having because you're going to a book sale. Awesome.
We need
good
to
luck,
talk
good luck.
about. Yeah. Butchie Butchie. Jesus Christ. Witchy sells books. And I want to talk to her, by the way. She can get her hands on all sorts of books. So if you're looking for anything, she's our girl.
Yes, I'm so excited. I think I told you last night that I'm going to be getting new finally a prescription glasses. And I have not been able to like sit down and read a novel in, oh my God, so many years. Just because my eyes can't do it anymore. So I'm going to be so excited to be able to actually read a book.
Yes, 100%. Oh my God.
But Tomboy,
it's not just Tomboy. Mystified is killing me. Hell, Senor Wazowski even jumped in there and said, I bet he can't use a bump stock. You guys are insane. Stop it. Scully said, why am I suddenly, where'd it go? Why do I suddenly want to buy a pillow pet? You're an asshole.
But back to Witchy, seriously, you guys. We need to get more information from her so we can support her. If we're going to buy a book anyways, like buy it from her, right?
Yeah, I definitely want to. And I know she can get her hands on stuff she was talking about before. So we will definitely. Miss Lana.
Hey, girl.
What's up, girly girl? Where's she at?
Where's your comment? Where is it? I'm looking. I don't see it.
Hold on.
I just see this one asking if I see your comment.
That's the only one we can see, girly girl.
Yeah.
Good to see ya.
Sorry.
Put it back in there, Lana.
Yeah. Jacqueline Keeley, hello. William Tardy.
What's up, guys?
All right.
Where the hell did her comment go, though? That's weird.
I don't know. I scrolled way up. I didn't see
I wonder if YouTube removed it. They've been doing that.
Oh, yeah. It might
whatever it was, yeah.
Sorry.
Lana Banana.
Mike's in the house. Hello, Mike.
What's up, brother?
All right, let's see what else. So they're showing how he's able to shoot a weapon.
Even with a 9mm, like just what did you walk away with watching that video of him firing a gun?
I was rather amazed, to be honest with you. I mean, he uses what he has left of his arms, and he loads that magazine, and then he turns around and he picks up the firearm, points it downrange at what we're assuming, is the target he was looking at, and then firing that. No, a 9mm doesn't have the same amount of kickback as some of the other firearms, but for him to have the strength to hold on to that and keep that from kicking back and losing, his grip on it, and then to fire another round. Now, clearly, we don't see the target downrange, so we don't know what his grouping looks like and what he was shooting at. My guess is he would have to come off of that target a little bit. But then I'm seeing
What does that mean? Come off the target a little bit?
Like not be right on target. You know what I mean? Come off a little bit.
Oh, because of not being able to control the weapon as good?
Right. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Because he doesn't have like a real grip on it. You know what I'm saying? He's just like
Right. Yes.
So that would definitely make him come off target in some aspect, I would think, as the weapon fires.
Gotcha.
video of him climbing up this deer stand, and the strength that he has is pretty amazing. What he has overcome in his life and the resilience. And I think, to me, that makes this case even more tragic. Someone with the grit, courage. I mean, to face every day from a young child on, that requires a level of courage that I don't think we talk about when you face days with a substantial disability like he has.
It's incredible. And it's like one of those things for me, like just looking through his social media, like he has this like award-winning smile. ESPN does a big feature on him. And then you see the mugshot. He's kind of got a grin on his face, which, can be very subjective and kind of, what does that mean? I don't know how much you can actually apply that to the facts of the case going forward.
I mean, look, he just shot it. He is controlling his body. Like the gun doesn't look like it's like going haywire.
The problem I have with this though is when you hold a gun, your hand is holding the grip, which kind of stabilizes the gun. Now I get that he's probably got some serious strength and he's holding that like this, okay?
Yeah.
I still feel like as it discharges, it may kick off target a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Because he doesn't have a full solid grip around it. I could be wrong, but
right. But
this is my opinion.
Yeah. I'm just saying, like, we can see him right here, and he's not like falling backwards or anything, And
does this show him firing the gun? Actually,
I think he just did. Let me just read
because I want to see where the nose of the barrel goes when he fires.
Okay. Yeah, we got to watch closely, and he's a buff guy. I mean, he's solid. I should say. He's a solid guy. And he's got all, your core, your like center of gravity, for balance.
Yeah.
He's got all that.
And this has been from birth, guys. So therefore, in turn, everything, his whole life has been nothing but this. Therefore, this is how
it's all he knows.
That's all he knows. So he didn't have to adapt to something. It just was what he was. So remember that just as much as we do what we do every day.
Yeah. All right. Let's watch. Oh, did it just move right there? Okay. Let's watch that.
See the mugshot. He's kind of got a grin on his face, which, can be very subjective and kind of, what does that mean? I don't know how much you can actually apply that to the facts of the case.
Okay. Did you see it?
Yeah. Take that back one more time, because it does look like it did go a little bit to the left. I might be wrong.
It's hard to get it.
Okay.
See the mugshot. He's kind of got a grin on his face, which, can be very subjective and kind of, what does that mean? I don't know how much you can actually apply that to the facts of the case.
I mean, damn, buddy.
It's pretty good, right?
It is. It does, though, look just a tinge like it might have, but it doesn't matter. I'm just saying, if you're shooting a person, you know what I'm saying? It's not bad enough that, like, I would expect it to jump way off, okay? What that was nothing, if anything. So, yeah.
Yeah. So then thinking about what happened in the car.
Oh, my God, senor. Right, exactly. I agree with you, Kim, 100%. Senor, shut up.
I know. That's why I had to go run and grab tissues.
Oh my
It's
God.
going forward, but it was kind of just this chilling moment. If you're the detective tasked with putting this case together and you're trying to understand how a person who is driving has no arms and no legs, and or at least amputated major part of it, and then there's 3 people in the vehicle, a shot is fired, this person riding shotgun is dead, and then the person who's a quadruple amputee is also accused of dumping the body and driving away. Like, as a detective, where do you even begin in putting this case together?
He looks very cocky.
You know, I want to know what happened in that car. My understanding is
He looks very what?
He looks kind of arrogant and cocky in that photograph, as if like, look, mess. You know what I mean? Like, I got you, type thing.
Yeah, the mugshot. Yeah, he's like got a smirk.
Even with his mullet perm thing going on, he still looks like he's being arrogant, in my opinion. So,
Yeah.
what's going on with this dude?
Yep. Yeah, I have not heard any of the story yet, so
Right.
can't
I will be
wait.
right back. Keep going.
Okay. I can't wait to hear the witnesses' stories. If any mods want to do a quick like Google search to see if the witnesses have spoke out, that would be awesome.
the deceased was a front seat passenger. They picked up the 2 back seat passengers. That's what I've gathered from reporting from some of the local news. And I want to find out from those 2 backseat witnesses, what on earth was there a fight going on? What was the demeanor of the 2, the accused and the deceased, when they got in the car? Did things escalate? You know, murder often happens when we see, you know, an escalation in that rage and anger. And was this some deep-seated problem between these 2? Is this something that just arose that day? And then I want to ask a few questions, because I understand that this gentleman used devices sometimes. Was he wearing prosthetic legs? Had he used a wheelchair that day? Did he occasionally use, you know, prosthetic arms? So what was going on there? What devices, if any, was he using? And then I want to know a few more details about where was the gun? Where did he pull the gun from? And then those exact actions that happened, and what was said immediately after.
Well, and that's the thing too, because as much as you look at the YouTube video and he knows how to fire a weapon, you know, as a hunter, you know, you look at his social media, he's a major Second Amendment advocate. So he knows how to handle guns, but then, you know, it's different being like at a range or in that controlled environment to then being in a heated argument inside a vehicle, an SUV, and his ability to have this gun and then allegedly fire it at the person sitting next to him, and then everything else like breaks out. How do you build that part of the case if you're the detective that's on it?
Well, it's going to be a little hard because you're going to ask tough questions, but that's part of the job. I know in our training.
Yeah, electric wheelchairs, you guys, electric wheelchairs, but that was hilarious. That was hilarious.
Part of the law enforcement officer training was handgun retention. In these close quarter fights that we occasionally got in, if someone attacked us, we were very well trained on retaining.
You guys, we all came with the same energy today. Oh my God, I love the sound effects. Yeah. Electric boogie oogie oogie.
That handgun. If the handgun's in the holster, how do we retain it? If we have pulled a handgun for a reason, how do we retain it if that fight comes close? So you want to ask the hard questions of where did he have it? What exactly happened? Was it sudden? Were you shocked? What was your state of mind as this was occurring? And it could be something as simple as the 2 people in the back seat were just stunned and never thought their pal. And my understanding is reporting has that all 4 people in the vehicle knew one another. That's another layer of this tragedy.
Yeah.
Back that up for a quick second. This is the guy they just showed in the blue shirt, right?
Oh, I know the man boobs.
Is it okay?
I think I know. I'm like, is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, I thought that was a woman.
Me too. I mean, I don't know if
Okay,
that is him. Like, are they using maybe not a correct picture
that looks like him in the other picture.
with the gap
The
and the
face,
teeth?
the,
Why
yeah.
does this I keep moving it, but
I mean, okay. I just wanted to make sure that was the same person because
yeah,
of
I know.
that.
I noticed it too. But I'm, maybe I don't know.
Looked like, yeah. Sorry.
No, you're good. I don't know where we were, but that's fine. We can go
Just
past.
let it play from there, I think.
Yeah.
This tragedy. Maybe they just never dreamed that their buddy, this professional champion, would be capable of doing something
I agree.
like that. How many times do we hear, I never thought my neighbor was capable of, I never thought my friend was capable of. So I'm wanting to get into their mindset and just
Yeah, I think maybe that picture we were looking at is when he was way younger, and it looks like he's gotten into better shape since then.
Yeah, that's gonna have to be. I just
Probably. I
at
don't
first I
know.
thought, yeah, well, he got his teeth fixed. We'll say that. You think?
Yeah.
Shut up, tomboy. Not even gonna answer.
That's the other thing is I have not heard anything about the victim yet. So
Well,
Sluther was asking about the victim.
right, and has he given any kind of a a deposition on this? Like, what happened at all? Is there anything about that yet?
I don't know what day he was arrested. I got to look all this stuff up. I'll do that. I'll dig for some stuff when we're done listening to this.
No problem.
I just saw it and was like, oh my God,
Sorry.
I've got to talk about this.
Yeah.
No, you're good.
what were they thinking at that time? And it could be as simple as that. Maybe they were just in shock. I mean, look at it. They just saw their friend murder their other friend right in front of them. So there is going to be a level of shock there. But what were they thinking in the seconds leading up to those shots being fired?
Because I think about Weber too, and he ends up being arrested in Charlottesville, Virginia. It's about 2.5 hours away from where all this took place, more than 100 miles south. He's at the hospital for some reason that hasn't been disclosed as of yet, but he ran. We don't know what his side of the story is, but this is someone who didn't just go off down the street, didn't go to the police station. He went far. And like when you come to building a case, you're trying to figure out, because you have the 3 people in the car, one of them's dead, 2 people who are accusing him of being the person who fired the gun. The fact that he ran, allegedly, what does that, how does that impact the way that you look at the characters involved in this story?
Oh, that goes to his mindset. That fleeing mindset goes to consciousness of guilt. So the prosecutor he's looking at this case already going, well, I have 2 eyewitnesses to this murder. How many times has that happened? Not that often. 2 eyewitnesses that have already flagged down police and made their initial utterances. By all accounts, it sounds like they were a little freaked out, and at least they said no to this man. They didn't help remove the body. You have a headline that shocked us.
He definitely has 2 extreme looks.
Yeah, for sure.
So, okay, is this younger?
It's got to be, because he looks completely different as he seems to have aged. He looks more manly, more, his jawline, his more, you know what I mean?
Well, I'm comparing. So there's that one, and then where's the one they just showed?
And it's wild because you can tell it's the same person, but they're completely extreme differences. It's got to be a younger, like that one there with him holding the thing over his head.
Yeah.
He looks male, like completely male there. The other one, he does resemble, like almost has a female look to him.
Yeah, but I'm saying like you said, oh, he fixed his teeth, but where his teeth are like this, does he look younger or older? Because I think
he looked older here.
Gap in your teeth, if you're older,
unless he got a tooth knocked out, and then
True.
You know what I mean. That's what it looks like. But he looks older there in that photograph to me.
Yeah. Okay.
Prosecutor also has this video of him firing weapons, including a handgun. So the prosecutor, and you have the fling. So the prosecutor's thinking all good things. And really what my interest is right now is what type of defense is this man going to mount, or his defense attorneys, whether paid for or appointed, will they mount for him? Because he's got quite a burden right now if reporting is accurate.
Right. And you know, I think back to the, you know,
Yeah, this is a good point, Senor. Like there are physically able
Yes.
people that can't drive in the rain, in weather. And this man, he was driving, shot someone, tossed him out of the car. And at the same time, however, the witnesses got out and made sure that they kept their mouth shut.
Right. And I will say this, guys. This is something I think we all can attest to. Someone that has what I'll call a disability, okay, has a tendency to overcompensate in other ways a lot of times when they're like this, okay? So in turn, obviously this kid is stupid strong. He looks like it, okay? The abilities that he has is what I'm saying. Like, with the lack thereof, the things that he has, you know, doesn't have, it's like he's overcompensated in other areas to be able to do stuff like. So I have no doubt, and Senor is right. Like, there's people that are 100% have every bit of their body with them that can't even do half this shit. So that's a fact. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. And I don't know anything about his like intelligence level either. So, you know, being smart enough to like just figure those things out, you know?
Yeah.
Yep.
Exactly. Like, if you lose, when you see somebody that like an amputee that has lost their legs, okay, their arms and their upper body becomes immensely strong. They're able to do things you wouldn't imagine people could do that just happen. So yeah, when you lose one, the other becomes stronger. Very good point.
Great point. Yep. All right. There's not too much more of this. And then we'll dig a little bit.
This because, you know, that headline is like, what? And then you look at how strong he is, whether it's climbing up the stand, and he knows how to fire a gun. And then it kind of starts to make sense that he might be capable to pull over to the side of the road, pull a body out, and then drive away. Might be capable of, in that moment, taking a gun. You know, we don't know if that gun was something, you know, right by.
Adaptive devices, Skull. Adaptive devices.
I can't. There's and by the way, thus far I've seen nothing with him shooting that is an other than the stand that he has the rifle mounted in. Besides that, there's nothing else there that is an adaptive device. So
yeah, so he's just, you know, and a lot of people that grow up with disabilities like that, like they try, if they can, to do it just like everybody else, if they can. Like, I think they're highly motivated for that.
It's the human nature, folks. Like, if you, like Tomboy just said too, if you start to not see very well or you lose your vision, you hear better or smell better. You know what I mean? Your other senses gain more strength in that aspect. So being that he was born this way, first off, this is just how his life has been from day one. Anything else that he probably couldn't do, we automatically adapt to things in life to be able to do in some aspects. So
yep.
Oh my God, Tomboy.
His side, that it was already, you know, loaded, whatever, and he's able to allegedly shoot this person.
So, I mean, I know he's probably got layers of clothes on, but this to me probably looks like a more recent picture. Would you agree with that?
He still has that young looking face though, so it's hard to say.
Yeah, I can't tell.
At the same time though, like, how much experience does the typical detective have when it comes to, or I guess how much could that impact? Like, you're rebuilding a case. Like, how much experience do you have when it comes to like a person with disabilities doing something like this, and how that could impact kind of the X's and O's of what played out? Or does that matter at all in all of this? And is that the disability part of it almost like kind of just the headline that grabs people's attention?
I think it's more of the headline. Obviously, you have to look at it, but if you think about it for a minute, you're in a vehicle, and my understanding is it was a Tesla SUV from some reporting. You have a deceased in the seat next to you. We already know that this young man has quite a bit of strength, so it doesn't take a whole lot of strength to lean over the console and push a deceased person out of the vehicle. You hops out, goes around, opens the door, pushes, grabs a hold of the arm and pulls. However, I don't think that part of the story is that complicated. The detectives will have to go. I don't think most detectives have a lot of experience with working with someone that is disabled to this point that this young man is.
Said stop.
But it's
Tomboy said stop. All right, okay, you heard me.
Stop the video.
I guess.
Yes.
That is that.
Yeah,
photo
that's
look-
his
yeah.
mug. That's the mug shot.
I'm telling you, I it's weird. Like the one with the blue shirt on, he definitely looks like he has breasticles. Then this one there, he does have like a female.
I think it's just the hairstyle, maybe. I don't know. We'll look into it. I mean,
He looks a
anybody
little
can
different.
anybody can transgender, like
Of
who
course,
knows?
of course. If that's
Yeah.
what happened, yeah, we don't know. But
Yeah.
I don't know. It's weird because they do look the same, but they look different at the same time. You know what I mean?
Oh, Tomboy, you're talking about the one where he's in the blue shirt with the guy. Yeah, we a few minutes ago we stopped and paused on that and we noticed the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Weird. Very weird.
Yep.
behavior, and detectives know that. So once they get behind what exactly occurred in that car, was it some underlying issue that came up? Was it the jealousy? Was it whatever? Or just became enraged during a fight and he just lost his cool to the point that he pulled the trigger? And that is human behavior 101 when you're working.
I think that would be hard to do with a quadruple amputee.
Does he have any siblings that you know of?
I do not. I do not.
And what is his name again?
Dayton Weber.
Thank you.
Yep.
Okay.
Murder.
Yeah, it certainly is.
I just think that's the way his body's built.
It might. It probably is. It's just. It's odd because he has so many different looks. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, I also think about the two witnesses in
Yeah, and we don't know like the ages and stuff.
That's what makes
This
it hard.
case.
I agree.
Yeah.
and from their side of it, it sounds terrifying, right? And they're either acquainted.
See, that one, I think he looks fuller faced,
Yeah.
like what the mug shot looks like.
Yeah. Right. But the
Uh,
tooth is different. The nose looks better. Maybe he just was gaining and losing weight and stuff. You know what I mean?
That's true. That's true.
People do that.
Yep, losing it, lost a tooth.
Acquaintances, maybe friends. We don't know the specifics of the relationship, but how do you make sure that they're telling the truth about what happened? You have two people who say they witnessed this. They're the only witnesses to our understanding of what this happened. Doesn't look like, just from like a Google map search, that this was an area where you're going to have video cameras that might have been able to capture this. So it's going to be their word against his. Like, how do you make sure that they're the ones telling the truth?
Well, that's again, these two people have witnessed something terrifying and awful, but it's the job of the detective to ask the hard questions. Now, I don't know if the accused in this matter, if he made any initial statements when he was picked up, but if he did, if those statements were against the interest of the two witnesses, clearly you're going to go back and talk to them and confront them with those differing statements. But you're going to bring them in and you're going to get a sense of what happened. And then you're going to start going out in that friend circle and talk to these different people, significant others, family members, other pals, and find out what the dynamic was of not just the deceased and the suspect, but all 4 people in this car. And it's even potential they may give them some type of truth verification test and see if they pass that. I don't know what that jurisdiction uses as anything along those lines, but that's a possibility here too, just to make sure and try to clear these guys.
Yeah, because it's just this story, and at the time we're recording this, Weber is going to be sent back to Maryland from Virginia, where he's going to face some very serious charges. I know every state is a little different when it comes to how someone is charged, but it looks like he is going to be charged with first-degree murder and second-degree murder. Mm-hmm. I know you're out in Colorado, but like typically, how can someone face those 2 in a case where they're accused of one person's murder?
Well, I think the first degree is my reading that I've done, and they're showing some. They're going to intend to prove some premeditation. Well, let's address that first. Premeditation, everybody thinks that you must sit back and make this elaborate plan, but premeditation, definitely here in Colorado, can be just a few seconds. Just that decision of reaching down wherever this individual kept his gun in that car. That thought process of, I'm going to get my gun, I'm going to hold that gun, I'm going to put it on him, and if any threats were made. So that can go to the premeditation part. But the second degree can be a lesser included. That's how we do it here in Colorado. So premeditation isn't that terribly hard to prove in court, but say this crime arose from an argument that just escalated. It just got more and more heated as they drove down the road. Well, that emotional aspect often goes with what we see in these second-degree murder charges. So if a jury, or if later the prosecutors, as the detectives are working and providing them more evidence, don't see enough for this first-degree premeditation and see more of an emotional outrage, they may want to look to dismiss the first-degree murder, stick with the second degree, and it also gives the jury some wiggle room depending on what case is presented later on in court if this goes to trial.
Yeah, and we'll see what happens next. Apparently, all of this stemming from some sort of alleged heated dispute inside the car, and wow, did it escalate, according to what deputies are saying. Lisa Miller, retired.
Okay.
I threw a picture backstage for you.
Okay.
So this shows him using the prosthetic feet to run. That little blade type things that they have. You see them?
Yes.
And I guess at some point he had asked his passengers in the back seat to help him get rid of the body, and they said no and left. He takes off, and then a couple miles down the road, they find the body in the yard. So,
Wow.
Yeah, this is actually really kind of interesting, Kim.
Any other information in there?
This just happened.
What date does it say?
March 22nd of 2026.
Okay.
Like days ago. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It was breaking news.
It says, according to the press release from CCSO, I think there's a presser on this if you want to see it. Claimed they'd been riding in the back seat of the car with Weber shot the front seat passenger in the midst of an argument. After the fatal shooting, Weber allegedly pulled the vehicle over and asked the witnesses to help him remove the body. When they got out and refused, he drove off with Wells still in the car. 2 hours later, a resident called 911 to report a body in a nearby yard, and the remains were identified as Wells, who was pronounced dead at the scene. And authorities said all the people in the vehicle knew each other. So everybody there, they knew who, each other as friends.
Right. So this happened in La Plata, Maryland. He's from Maryland. So then he drove, what did they say, to West Virginia?
Yeah. He knows he did something wrong. He ran. The press release. There's the press release.
Okay, yeah, this says I've got a Channel 8 NBC news article. It says that following the shooting, Weber allegedly pulled over near Radio Station Road and Llano Drive and asked the two witnesses to help pull the victim from the car. However, the pair refused, got out of the car, and left the scene. So they walked away.
Right. I'd like to hear what the argument was over.
I know. So the victim is Bradrick Michael Wells.
Mm-hmm.
These names, man, Dayton and Bradrick.
Yeah. Bradrick, that's a new one. I mean, what kind of an argument are you having that you have to shoot somebody, you know? That's wild.
Right. Charlottesville, Virginia is where, I'm just getting the facts down, is where he was found at the hospital.
Yeah, it says he had some kind of a medical
Mhm.
problem that he went to the hospital for.
And I was saying, like, for him to be driving a white Tesla SUV, like, that's got to be some money.
Right. Where did he get the money from? That's the other question.
Yeah. I mean, how much do you get from winning cornhole championships?
Not enough to buy a damn Tesla. I mean, unless he's like, maybe, who knows, you know?
So he's waiting extradition because he's in a different state.
Yeah.
And he was a fugitive.
Huh.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so because what's today, the 25th? That was 3 days ago.
Yeah. This all just happened.
Yeah. All right. Well, I don't think
Wow.
there's anything more on that, but we're gonna be following that one.
I mean, he's 27 years old. Just to answer some questions I saw. I would really like to hear testimony from the other two witnesses as to what this argument was over and
Yes.
what created the issue. And we just heard that there's talk of some premeditation possibly. Was this something that was planned beforehand and he got the person in the truck or the car, sorry, to do this per se, or was this something that happened after the fact?
Right. Like it was a spontaneous argument.
Yeah.
I mean, this could go in a million different directions. Yeah, depending what they were arguing about.
That's why I'm questioning why they're mentioning premeditation, because you know how that works. I'm looking and I don't see much more, obviously, because this is brand new, folks. We're not going to have too much info yet. I'm surprised you found this so quick.
I'm trying to look for, you said there was a press conference?
No, it was a press release. I misread it. I'm sorry.
Okay.
So it says police say that Dayton Weber was driving a Tesla SUV. I didn't even know they made those, but okay.
Yeah.
While Bradrick Michael Wells was seated in the front passenger seat after an argument broke out between the two. Weber allegedly fatally shot Wells. The allegations against Weber were labeled by the two passengers. So I'm sure they've given the details of it. They just haven't released it yet.
Right.
So it sounds to me, well, this could still go either way, Kim. Like, if it either could have been something that was premeditated, he picked him up on purpose so he could do what he was going to do, started the argument, boom, or it was something that did happen after the fact. So we don't know yet.
Yeah,
you
he
guys
could
are killing
maybe
me today.
claim self-defense, but I think the passengers in the back seat will have something to say about that.
Yeah, that's definitely going to be part of the whole thing, I would guess. And self-defense for what? You know, what was that person doing to you as you're driving? That's going to need to be known too.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry.
Lots of questions. So that link that I posted a few minutes ago, the article, like when you click on it, I don't know if it was from Facebook or Twitter, but I just read the comments. Just read. like do it later, but the comments, oh my god. They're so good. So funny. So someone has an update. So that's the other thing I was going to talk about today real quick is I didn't see any updates about Nancy Guthrie herself, but they're either trying or they recalled the sheriff.
Yeah, because he's lying. He's been accused of lying, is what Brian Hinton said.
Thanks, Tomboy. So there is an interview with his coworker, and I can't remember if it's his old boss. Is it his old boss
Yeah,
or he
yeah.
was his old boss? So I wanted,
Yeah,
I haven't listened to the whole thing yet, but I want to
run it.
that.
Run
Have
it.
you,
No, I haven't seen it at all, so I want to
you
hear
haven't heard it? Okay, I guess it's really good. Like I think it's
That's
really
what
tough.
my understanding too. I'm ready.
Okay. All right.
Let's do it live.
Uh-oh. Where'd I put it? What is this? This is the 4th.
Oh, damn, Scully.
Brian. Not that, not that. All right, did I put it in the 23rd? Let me see. I mean, it won't take me long to look it up, but
Well, you guys know my feelings on this idiot sheriff from day one, so I've never been a fan. And I think, this is just my own personal opinion, I think that if this guy would have never been involved, there's a very likelihood that we would have had Nancy back already. This is just my opinion, so. Find it.
I gotta look in one more spot. Thought it was in my playlist. Where'd I put it? I didn't say. Nope. I gotta look it up. Okay, I know it was Brian Hinton.
I have, is it here? Hold on. I think I have it right here for you.
Hold on one second.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, I just need to go to his channel. Let me just, I know what I did.
It's the one that Nancy Guthrie, sheriff accused of lying. County supervisor hopes he does the right thing and resigns. That
Is it
one?
Brian Hinton?
Yeah. If not, that's another one, just so you know.
Okay. Yep, that's it.
Yeah. If they're calling for him to resign, I told you guys a long time ago, something's wrong with that guy.
Right.
He did some bad stuff. Still wonder, Kim, if he was involved. He sure as hell made it look that way. Yep, that's the one.
Okay.
Let's do it.
And for following along with all the stories that I cover. Today is day.
All right. I'm going to skip all the
small talk.
I thought it was a radio. No. Oh, wait, I'm confused.
Is this the wrong one?
Where's the guy?
Let me look.
I would love to know that answer because the answer is he's not.
Let me see. I swear I saved this, but it's not showing up.
With factor.
And I mean, I don't have it on me, but one of the quotes that came out of our sheriff on, I believe, February 3rd.
Hold on. That's the wrong one. I found it. 1 minute. Yeah, because there's so many Brian did.
Uh-huh.
This is the one here. It's sheriff's former boss has concerns with Nancy Guthrie investigation, his theory on what happened. And it's backstage if you want it, or you can go get it.
Hey, babe. Hola.
What's happening, Mr. Carlos?
Everybody say hi to Carlos.
Be safe over there, boss.
This one?
Yeah, that's it. All right, I'll pull it down.
So, Tomboy said, not my heavy Kim's heavy. All right. So wait, you gotta play it. No, wait,
Oh.
where'd it go?
You had it. I thought you pulled it up. I'm sorry. I'll put it back up for you. Sorry, I misunderstood what you were doing. And yeah, I can play it. 1 second. Here you
Well,
go.
wait, I might be able to because I think it. Let
That's
me
what
see.
I thought you did.
Yeah, hold on. Hold on.
You want me to take this down then?
Yeah, I think it's this one.
Okay.
There we go. Here we go. Yep.
Hey guys, thanks so much for checking out my show. I really that there was never a major search for Nancy Guthrie, which I asked him extensively about because it's been something that's confused me. Yes, there was a search in the beginning. Remember, they brought the dogs out for 1 or 2 days, it seemed like, but we've never seen really a major search for Nancy in the desert out there. And he explains why he thinks that's the case. And we basically just go through everything that's happened, and his take on it, again, is really fascinating because of his perspective. 40 years with the Pima County Sheriff's Office, most of that time spent being Sheriff Nanos' boss. I think you guys will be interested in everything he has to say. That's coming up in a second.
All right, so I'm going to skip right to that. So we are going to hear from Sheriff Nanos's former boss, and I think he's going to spill some tea.
Sauce. They spill sauce.
Spill some sauce. He's going to peep some sauce. I don't know if that's right.
But I want to get to this conversation that I had with Rick Castigar again. He was the chief deputy at the Pima County Sheriff's Office about all of the latest developments.
Rick Castigar is the guy
involving the Nancy Guthrie case.
Rick, it's nice to see you again. Thank you for joining me. Last time I saw you, I was riding around in your car, sort of getting the lay of the land of Tucson. And then you were out of town for quite some time, and I'm interested to catch up with you and get your perspective on some of the things that have been happening for the last month or so. The first thing I wanted to ask you, Rick, is I was actually up last night kind of thinking about this. Why do you think we never really saw anyone searching for Nancy? I mean, there were initially, I remember they called in Bortak, like, I think it was like day 1 or 2, very briefly, but there was never a big grid search. There was never like a coordinated search.
Nope.
Well, I think that's a valid point. And one of the concerns that a lot of people have had related to the way this operation has been handled. And I think your viewers and you know full well I have some serious concerns. By the way, thanks for having me back. I appreciate the fact that you want to talk to me. And as you well know, I've been retired from the organization for a couple of years now, but I did serve there over 46 years, and I know the players intimately. That said, you're talking about a grid search. And
he said he worked there for 46 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So there's definitely no reason to not trust what this man's saying, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Initially, the case was handled as though this was an elderly woman who walked away from her home. That was the initial response for the first, perhaps 18, 24 hours or so.
I didn't realize that.
Me either. And that's the first mistake. How do you do that when there's blood on the front porch, Kim?
Hello, and blood in the house. Like, I could see that for the first, maybe, like you said,
10
before
minutes?
you get there.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, on scene, as soon as you arrive on scene, you're going to say, hey, wait, there's something wrong. Well, there's mistake number 1 for Sheriff. Uh-oh.
Yeah, that's just common sense. Like, okay, so I think that's telling. Then there must not be that much blood. So you're thinking she hurt herself, she's bleeding, and she wandered away. Okay, but then how far is she gonna get?
But she's got a car. She's got a vehicle in her garage.
She
Yeah.
didn't
How far?
drive.
How far she can't walk without a walker and stuff like that. So where'd she go? To the street? You
Yeah,
know?
that's horrible. Horrible police work right there.
I said that.
And
Remember? Go ahead. Sorry.
No, no, no. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say. You remember? I went off about this idiot sheriff like from the beginning. Like the way he released the scene immediately. I'm sure that our police officers in here can help. 1-1 went off about that. I think Senor Wazowski made a point about that. Like every mistake this man made, obviously it starts right there. The first, the initial response is a mistake. So
Yeah. Yeah.
sorry.
No, good points.
that did involve a search. There were search and rescue components on the ground, some on foot, some on horseback, and of course the helicopter. That didn't really find anything, but as soon as the sheriff's department saw the initial evidence, and now we have the luxury 7 weeks out to understand what that is, it became very clear, at least to me, that this was a very sophisticated abduction. And when I use that word sophisticated, I don't use it lightly, because the preparation that took place of the individual or individuals that committed this crime is evident in the video that we've seen. It's evident in the scene itself. And even the sheriff has concluded this was an abduction. That's not rocket science, but it's scary because we don't know what the intent was initially.
So he's like, it's really evident that it's an abduction, but then they spent the first 24 hours treating it like she walked away.
And here's my question. He knows this. Nanos had to know this, but he obviously didn't do it, in my opinion, on purpose. I'm telling you, I've said this for a long time. You've heard me say this. He's making me believe that he's doing these things on purpose to avoid finding her. Okay, or
Sure.
maybe not to avoid finding her, but to drag out time. Maybe give a time. Give. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
Like extend the period of time for maybe.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but I'm not a conspiracy theorist. This guy has done this to himself. It's made me think, like, what are you doing here? Are you giving the kidnappers time to get away by doing this shit? That's what I'm saying.
So I'm on this path that is really has these, what do you want to call it? Events that can connect all these cases, possibly, because no one wants to talk about it. But, talking about the Nancy Guthrie case, when everybody dug into the guy with the car that got pulled over and questioned and all that, and
Right.
there's a drug connection there, and the potential great niece that was arrested and in jail, and is she snitching on somebody? And then I've covered these cartel members, the big bus, the kingpin bus, like back in Mexico. And what I'm learning is, we all know they buy off all the politicians and run the government in Mexico. It's not hard to think that they would do the same thing. And I know they've done the same thing in the United States. Like, they've bought off lawyers. They pay. That's how they're able to do what they do.
And as
They
close
can't
as
do it without that.
Bingo. And as close as they are to the border here, okay,
Yes.
I would like to see Sheriff Nanos's financials. Truly, okay.
Yes.
I'd like to see if there were large deposits made to his accounts before this happened in some period of time, or if there's regular deposits being made that don't match up to his pay and things like that going into his account. Because I'm telling you, that's my first thought with this. As soon as I started noticing the mistakes he made, is that they have him in their pocket, and that's how he's acted. So,
fumbling a case,
100%.
we've seen it in other cases.
Yes. Whoa.
And, you made the point like, oh, they're close to Mexico. But when you think about drugs in the United States, they are in every city in this entire country. And not every podunk city is going to have people paid off because they're just not that important. But when you look at, and areas, different areas can be important for different reasons.
Absolutely. This guy, I just have the feeling, and I have since this started basically, that he's one of those, he's paid to look the other direction for things. He's paid to keep his mouth shut about things and allow for things to happen throughout it. You know what I mean? Stuff like that. So, yeah.
Well, yeah, we already know he was in trouble for a RICO charge or associated with somebody who got in trouble for a RICO charge and didn't do the things he needed to do then. So, yeah.
No, I don't like him. I never have.
Not far-fetched. All right, so this guy's telling us exactly what.
Yep.
I have some guesses. And there were, getting back to the grid idea, the grid search itself, one of the things they want to do is look very carefully from the point of origin, which would have been her home, and perhaps any evidence that led 360 degrees around her home, footprints, articles of clothing, things she might have been carrying. Of course, then the next step would be, well, where would she logically go? Has she done this before? But as we became well aware, she had the mental faculties and sharpness of a much, much younger person. Her family told investigators that up front, and the need for a ground search was put on the back burner. That's the way I see it, spiraling forward.
But even weeks later, or even now, and I think to Savannah's or the Guthrie family statement that just came out in the last 24 hours, and it's so sad, but they seem to be acknowledging that Nancy is probably not with us anymore. And I think most people have kind of sadly come to that reality. But why wouldn't you still do some kind of search? And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you can tell me, you had so many years in law enforcement, but like, wouldn't you still do some kind of search to see if there's a grave, to see if there's a body somewhere? Or is it just too vast, the desert?
Well, to do it now would be difficult at best because the weather, wind, there's been rain here in this part of the country during the 7 weeks she's been missing, and that obscures anything you might find. But of course, you ask about a grave, but what would be the motivation of an individual to abduct her from her home and then take her somewhere, presumably with the intent to gain something, and we don't know what that is. A lot of us surmise it has to do with some financial gain. But what would be the purpose of burying her if she passed near the home? That doesn't make a lot.
Why is he saying that?
What do you mean?
They didn't find her, right?
Right.
So why is he saying burying her by the home? By the home? He's saying that's where they searched or something. That's where they were searching.
Yeah, that's what I think they were looking for.
Yeah. So he's asking for a motive, right? And everybody like in mainstream and everybody out there is like, oh, it was like because of the ransom, right? Oh, they must just want money. I mean, yes, that's possible, but that failed. So that it was either just a failure, but I really think her being taken as a threat to shut somebody up is another possibility.
Good point. Very good point.
A lot of sense, and it's not a likely scenario. There's several others that you and I have explored that I've shared with you. I know that the sheriff's department has information they cannot reveal, and they will not, just to maintain the integrity of the case. But ground searches were conducted. several of them considerably later than one would have hoped, because they found gloves, plural. They found a glove that belonged to somebody working at a nearby restaurant. And that kind of doesn't make sense. Apparently, there's some association between other evidence and an Uber driver. I know that they've interviewed, you reported at one point, the FBI SRT team went out and interacted with somebody who was an Uber driver. That didn't produce anything concrete.
He just said there was evidence about an Uber driver.
Right. Well, there was an Uber driver to take her to Annie's house, I believe, but then supposedly Annie's husband brought her home. That's what I remember, I believe.
Right. And what they told us, now it doesn't mean they're telling us the truth, but what they told us was that they identified the Uber driver and they're cleared. That's what they told the public.
Right.
And they've taken steps to be as careful as possible. But as you've heard from me before, I don't think the right things were done initially. And I think the outcome, it may or may not have changed if certain things were done initially. Regardless, they're still pursuing this, albeit a much smaller investigative entity, but they're still pursuing this.
You mentioned things that they're holding back, law enforcement. I know you don't work there anymore, but you did work there for more than 40 years, which is amazing, by the way. But do you think that there's a lot they're holding back? Because I've kind of struggled with that. Like, do you think there's things that they saw inside the house, like big, details that they are specifically not telling the public? Or do you think by this point that stuff would have gotten out?
Well, I think a lot of it has gotten out, but you say big details, and that's kind of a subjective term, what big means. But the purpose of withholding information on a case is so that the investigators, when they do have a person in custody, and let me take the example of this Uber driver, the guy that the FBI went and talked to. They have information that only the bad guy would know, or perhaps the family. And that has to be withheld, because if at some future point we discover who committed this crime, there are ways to interrogate that person and try and deem specifics that only that person would know.
Right.
And then that adds credibility to that person's story. There are somebody in an interview with me one time called them clowns, and I think that's probably the perfect description. But there are individuals out.
So I had to put another sweater on. I'm freezing. Think about that with the Idaho 4 case. So everybody was asking the prosecution, why didn't you make him allocute Brian Kohberger and tell some information about the case? And he said, well, we wouldn't be able to corroborate any of that, and he would lie and blah, 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 blah. This guy right here is explaining what anybody in the true crime world understands, that police officers always hold back something that nobody knows. So they should have forced Brian, you're not getting this plea deal unless you can tell us this information that only the killer would know.
Absolutely.
Boom.
We know why they didn't do it, though. They knew two reasons. Okay. One, they knew, this is my opinion, of course. Okay. But I'm pretty close to thinking it's factual. One, they knew Brian couldn't tell any information because he wasn't there, because they know this. And two, if Brian were to come out and say something, it's going to be a lie, and it would void his deal. If it came out down the road that it was not true, anything he said, it would void his plea deal because he's lying. You know what I mean? So there, in turn, those are the two reasons I believe that they didn't allow him to speak.
Oh, exactly. We know that. I don't understand why other people in the mainstream media with brain cells don't understand that. Like, I mean, come on, hello. Like, everybody asked about that, but I think they stopped. They didn't go far enough in going like, why wouldn't you do this basic common law enforcement tactic of holding back a key piece of evidence that is done in practically every other major case in the world?
I think it's proof, folks. I think that point right there at the sentencing hearing, the plea deal being taken, all of that, I think is the only proof we need to know that Brian didn't commit this crime at this point. It says it itself, you know? So
Right.
people, that's what I don't understand, why the guilters don't look at this and say, wait a minute. They just accept the statement that was made by Hippler and Thompson saying, you wouldn't understand it. He's going to lie. Are you kidding me? You're just going to accept that. Okay.
Think about that. What if they would have never released that there was a sheath found? Like, what if, they could have referred to it, vaguely, part of a weapon or something indicating the type of a weapon. They didn't have to come out and say what it was.
Right.
And then Brian would have had to have known what it was.
Yep. And he doesn't know because he wasn't there. You can't know something if you're not there to know it. Okay. There's your proof that the man doesn't know, and they knew that. Bill knows that. Hippler knows that. Ashley knows that. Period. So.
Yeah. Hi, Hemisphere. Hi, Deb.
We'll be
Totoro.
talking about that today too.
Hi, Seahawks fan. No, I think I haven't heard a lot of people like take it in that direction, like with a lot of discussion about the allocution, but why not holding something back? And
yep,
I'm totally on page with you. Like, we know why.
Yeah.
We know why.
Absolutely. Yeah,
but nobody wanted to call them out about that.
No, because right, bingo. Nobody will in that area. Nobody will within that group. They know they're not going to, because if somebody calls somebody out over there, it gets looked into. Guess what happens, Kim? It's proven then. Okay.
Case blown. Yeah.
Case blown. Bingo. Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll be talking about that today too.
Yep.
There who purport to be the ones who did the crime, but they don't have the level of detail that law enforcement is withholding, and it can be easily disproved that somebody's come forward and said something and it's not valid. And that's really the reason, the critical reason. And then of course you've got, if and when this ever went to a court, you have to be able to prove what information that person has and what you know. DNA is a classic, serious piece of evidence today. It didn't exist when I started out as a foot cop, but it does today. And that has expanded beyond just the actual DNA and somebody to compare it to. It's now gone beyond familial relationships and DNA databanks that have close enough information to steer investigators toward some narrower scope. I believe that they have that. I believe they have some DNA that it can't be compared to an individual because they don't have the individual, or that individual had never been arrested for a serious enough crime for the DNA to be in the database. But they've got something that might tie into family level and draw investigators toward singling out who may have done this.
So based on all your experience.
Sorry, I said, wait a minute. What was he trying to say there? So he's like, they've got DNA.
Right.
They obviously have put it into CODIS and got no hits.
Yeah, the person hasn't been in enough trouble for it to show up. Yeah.
So they should have been able, so they've been swabbing suspects along the way and just haven't gotten a match yet. Okay, that's basically what he's saying.
Molly, good to see you, dear. Or
Molly.
Or here's another thought. With this sheriff being on deck with this, we know that he took DNA, sent it off to another lab, blah blah blah. Did he do something with this DNA, Kim?
Have we heard anything about the DNA lately?
No, and I always thought it was strange that nothing came back on this. Okay, I've always thought that nothing. So I wonder if this sheriff did some swapping. That's a good question, Deb. Maybe they should have.
I mean, I would hope that he wouldn't have access to it, but there's something's going on with that DNA because they sent it to another,
Florida, yeah.
Yeah, that's an accredited lab. I looked them up. Like, that's what they do. They have a very good mission for why they're doing what they do. Why did the FBI have to get involved again? Another case where the FBI had to step in and say, oh no. And then they gave us some cockamamie story. Like, I don't buy it. Oh, it's got to go back to the state and they've got to resubmit it. Like, I just think that was to cover up something else was going on. So the last we heard is that the DNA went back to the state.
Which makes no sense. And when I looked that up, there was nothing ever anywhere listed that that's something that has to be done.
Right. And you already have it at like a highest level of lab. Why are you going backwards to like a lower level lab? So yeah, I have a red flag on the way. I think it's going to be here tomorrow, but red flag.
Mike makes a good point too. He said his own words, I can control the DNA by sending it to Florida. I agree with Mikey. That's real interesting. Why do you need to control it there, boss?
Oh, that is interesting. He did have a partnership with them.
Right.
Interesting.
There's something really bad going on with that.
Yep.
And you mentioned, I mean, there are things that you don't know. There are things we don't know. But based on all your experience, what is your theory now? I mean, because I talked to you early on. Is there one hypothesis you have based on the facts that we know?
Here's a couple of things. And I'm going to take us, if you don't mind, Brian, through the chronology of what happened and what we know. One of the first critical things we saw was blood on the porch. And I think your team reported that. Secondarily, the FBI gets involved, thank goodness. And we see that there was a video camera that did record an incident, a suspicious or a individual who covered his identity walked up. If you watch that video carefully, you'll see him approach slowly and with his right shoulder toward the camera and his turning to his left with his head. That tells me he knew where the camera was. That tells me that perhaps this, and that's when I underscore the word sophistication, that this individual had that information in his mind when he walked up to that front porch. He slumps forward, kind of buries his head into his left shoulder, walks towards the camera, slowly puts a glove up, turns around, picks up some brush, apparently, in the porch in front, and then puts it in front of the camera again, covering it with his glove and this brush. That's preparatory work.
Hey guys, I was in Arizona for almost a month and a half, and my eating habits.
Hi, John. All right, I want to get to him talking about Sheriff Nanos, if that's okay with you guys.
I can see that. There's some suggestion he had a jammer.
All right. We already know this stuff.
because now you're dealing with a murder, right?
Okay.
I mean, the January 11th date keeps coming up, and the Guthrie family actually put that date in their latest statement, which is the first time I've heard them on the record reference that date. But neighbors.
So this is another like new-ish piece of information is that they're going back to January 11th day as being very important.
Have been telling us for a long time that the FBI has specifically been asking them for video from January 11th. So it just goes back to what you said.
All right.
That's greater.
Are you surprised it's still not solved?
I thought he was going to talk about the sheriff. Let me see.
Evident to this nation and the world as he's out there.
What'd you say?
I think he does at some point.
Okay, I'm just trying to skip to that.
You know, talking to anybody and everybody that he could instead of coordinating with the FBI.
Okay, yep. He's doing it here.
There we go.
A little bit. Yep.
IDs. Well, so does security. And then what the reasons for it were.
Yeah, some people have said 4 or 5 people, but you made the point. I mean, with the $1 million reward, you would think that maybe
all of that, they would be able to dissect it considerably and hopefully come up with some part of it that is specific to an individual. You know, today we use our phones and face IDs. Well, so does security at the airports. And so does security for other places across the world. And there's specifics to each person's eye.
That's a good
and
point.
Mouth and creases and cracks and all kinds of different things that now through the computerized technology.
Italian girl, hello. I was asking about you earlier. I haven't seen you in a while, and you'll have to rewind later to the beginning because I have my Don't Question Gerald t-shirt on. I have it covered up now though with a sweater.
Nice.
Good to see you.
That we're using can help narrow things down, but you may have thousands and thousands of things or people that are close to those things. I'm sure they're looking at that. Smart investigators would be looking at that.
How long have you known Sheriff Nanos?
Oh, here we go.
Well, his entire career. And back in 1984, when he began, I was probably a patrol sergeant and we didn't interact. Later in his career, I got promoted, he got promoted, and of course, you know, the leadership roles of the organization changed. And as I told you before, he worked for me the majority of his career. And so I know him. What I was told is he's a bully by many people who would come to me and personally relate, look, Rick, the guy works for you, he's patronizing you, but he's a bully to all of his subordinates. I didn't believe that until I went to work for him, until he became the sheriff and I was his number 2. And then I became strongly aware of the type of egocentric individual he is, how vindictive he is, and how vain he is.
There is nothing more frustrating than to be an employee, like a lower level employee, and to try to get help and tell your truth to a superior and they don't believe you because the person you're complaining about is doing a snow job on them.
Right. And you can't be a sheriff or a law enforcement officer with an ego because it doesn't work at all. Okay. He takes the ego thing to a whole new level. Okay. Completely. And then he puts on a show for the world and the fake crying and all the boohoo bullshit that he does and everything just to get his way. The guy is a complete egocentric idiot. Period. So,
yep.
And you can see through him clearly. You know what I mean? Just clearly. So
Yeah, there has been a lot of different people coming out and all saying the same thing. So
yeah, this guy is saying the other guy that was the leader of the union, I believe, said the exact same stuff that this gentleman's saying. Completely same things. Okay, so how is it possible when they're in two different realms, two different people? This guy, they don't work together. That they're saying the exact same thing. That's exactly what it is, Candy. John Wayne syndrome.
Yep.
And
Good way to
actually,
put it.
his vanity is what.
Sorry, were you saying something?
No. I was
Okay.
One of the first things that became so evident to this nation and the world as he's out there, talking to anybody and everybody that he could, instead of coordinating with the FBI and perhaps ensuring that the proper collaboration of investigators in this valley got together and started to rethink the evidence that they had. One person's idea, and I'll use myself as an example. You've asked me what my theory is, and that's mine. But if I were to sit down with another learned individual in investigative work and walk through all the elements of the evidence, he and I or she and I could bounce off of each other ideas and concepts. One mind is much, much stronger, greater, and two is much greater than one, three, and so forth. And what I'm troubled by this investigation is that the sheriff took this to we're in charge, we're it, we don't need anybody's help, so be it. That's sad because there are other points of view and other levels of talent that could have been brought into this earlier. Would that make a difference to where we're at today? Perhaps not. But it's still not the right way to conduct a police investigation of this nature.
Yeah, and I just want to understand better because you have such a unique perspective on the sheriff just because of your history. We've talked to other people who worked for him a little bit or knew him a little bit. I mean, you have a long history with the sheriff. So
I do.
So, you worked with him for 40 years?
Yeah.
And you were his boss for how long?
Probably 37 of that 40.
So you were his boss for 37 years, and then he ran for sheriff.
Well, here's what happened, and a lot of people don't know this. And I was reading a story today where Chris said the former sheriff wanted him to be the new sheriff. I'm the one who went to the former sheriff and said, this is your guy. Not that I'm trying to take credit for it. As a matter of fact, I regret doing that. I regret it because it has made the organization that I came from, that I grew up in, that I was so proud of, much less capable.
This is such a prolific issue, I think, like a huge issue with people being too reliant on just being kissed up to and surface level stuff when you're looking at people on the job, like being like letting people blow smoke up your butt, like, and not really looking at their work.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Luther 75 just gave us 5 more typically unique members. Thank you. Let's see who's in here. Hemispheres Green. Deb Tutterow. Awesome. Welcome, you guys. Moonvale. Third, Apache and Chickbait. All right. Lots of people that I see in chat a lot.
Welcome,
Thank
new
you
people.
so much. Awesome. Let's see what we got.
I appreciate you. Thank 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 you for the support. Thank you. Thank you.
You are greatly appreciated, Sleuther.
Great job, Sleuther.
Welcome in, new peeps. Put some chick emojis in the chat. And please take a moment to hit that like button.
Yeah, guys, we're almost there. Hit that
So
button.
yeah. So yeah, the reason I'm saying that is because this guy got completely snowed by Sheriff Nanos, Chris Nanos, and I mean,
Yeah. Yeah.
look
And
at the work. Look at the work, not listening to the excuses. Sorry, go ahead.
you're right. No, that's 100%. I was going to say it's almost the same thing, but yeah, he thought, based on what he's seen over the years, because he did such a snow job on him and everybody else around him for so many years, that this guy was a great candidate for this position until he got the power. And this is what happens. You cannot give the wrong people the power. Okay. This is what we fight against day after day, folks, is power. And, it's I say it all the time, power, people versus the power. When the wrong people get in that power, it's over. Same type of stuff that's going on in Idaho, in my opinion. Okay. Same type of things that happened in Delphi, in my opinion. I'm just saying, you cannot give certain people the type of power
Yes.
that allows them to do these things. Look at what happened with Fran Gall, the judge in the Delphi case. Oh my God, that is absolute abuse of power. And multiple ways we've seen it. You give this man the badge of sheriff of the town, and it's over. He'll do what he wants to do, how he wants to, and when he wants to. What he
Yep.
did.
You have to have the right people in the right positions doing the right work to have any successful organization, and especially in law enforcement when you're trying to figure out these complicated crimes. I mean, you can just see how bad it goes.
I've seen it. Kim, you've seen it. You were a teacher for how many years? 35 years?
32.
32 years. Sorry about that. But I'm sure even as a teacher, you've seen that. And I know Tandy has seen it.
Yeah.
And even the teaching world, guys, any type of power you can get over a situation, people abuse it, period. So,
Yeah. And a lot of these systems can be like the good old boy buddy system. Like, it doesn't matter what you've done or how good you do your job. They just promote friends.
yes.
Yeah.
So you liked him though, obviously.
I did.
Yeah.
I did. And as I told you, some weeks ago, at the time that the former sheriff asked me to run, my dad had Alzheimer's, my mom had COPD, or she was actually in hospice care. So I was kind of raising my parents, as many of us of my age do. And I couldn't do it. So Chris was and I remember the former sheriff saying this, I don't care for him. That's exactly his words. I don't want him to take over the organization that former sheriff developed. And Chris will tell you to his face and probably call me a liar, but he wasn't the first choice. And it's egocentric for me to say it, but it's the truth. I was, and I couldn't, and I regret the fact that I supported him, because there are other people within the organization that could have, and I believe would be more fair-handed in the way they deal with others and their own team.
Yeah. Like the detective guy that's been sitting behind a desk because of.
Yep. I was just
Yeah.
going to say that. 100. Wow. Get out of my head. That guy that they interviewed, that was leader of the union, that dude would have been, based on his experience level. And I think Chris probably felt threatened by him, and which is why, one of the reasons why he's kept him down. You know what I mean? Because he knows he could do a better job than him, period.
Yep.
So you supported him, he won, and then you went from being his boss to becoming his number 2.
Yeah, what happened is when he won the election, he and I had lunch, and I helped him during his campaign, both financially and physically during his campaign. And we went to lunch, and he says, look, I won, the election's over with. I'd like you to come and be my chief deputy. That's what it's called here. I was flattered, and I agreed to do that. I don't know if I told you this, and I don't know if I can say this 4-letter word I'm about to say on this podcast for you, but day one, when we're all sitting around the table, when Chris Nanos is the sheriff, He said, I am going to micromanage the shit out of you guys. That was the exact quote. And I was stunned that he laid a foundation that he wouldn't allow anybody else to control things. Now,
wow.
There's your ego. And that's probably when this gentleman right there, when that statement was made, is when he probably realized, excuse the phrasing, but I effed up. You know what I mean? He probably knew right there.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yep.
I should not have supported him. I should not have helped him. I basically just destroyed the sheriff's department by doing this.
Yeah, good. If you read any leadership book, I've read a lot of leadership books. It's all about you empower your employees. You know,
Yes.
you're a servant leader. You know, all those types of.
Absolutely. Same thing we do here. Just to explain it in that aspect, the same thing we do here on YouTube. Okay. And you know this because you're one of my moderators as well. You guys do, and moderators know, I trust them. They do what they do. I don't question it. You know, we talk about it, but I don't question it. They do what they do because we have that trust, period. It's the same thing, folks. I don't look at them. Oh, what are you doing here? What are you doing there? Why'd you do this? Why'd you do that? You can't do this. You can't do that. No, they do it. They do. And I tell the community, if my moderators, if Candy comes in here and says, no, you can't do that. Sorry. You get the warning, you do it again, you're gone. I don't question that. I tell people, you will respect them, you will listen to what they tell you to do, or you won't be here. End of story. The same situation, folks, period.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't like micromanagers either.
No.
Well, and the thing is, like, I don't know, looking at the Nancy Guthrie case, does it really look like he was micromanaging anything? Like, I don't think he had a clue about anything.
He's an idiot. That's why.
So but again, it's like, I'll say I'm going to do this because it's going to look like I'm super on top of things, but then I'm not going to do anything.
Exactly. But that's why it made me wonder, Kim, does it? I'm telling you guys, when I look at this guy, I have a bad feeling and a bad vibe, and I have for a long time. He's made me look at him as though he's working with the people that abducted Nancy. Period. I can't look at him any other way now.
Yeah. All right, let's see if he drops any other bombs.
We're years later, and that's the way he runs things. He second guesses everyone. He doesn't give them any autonomy. He won't take other opinions. He wants to do it his way. And we saw that happen in this particular case with the FBI. He's held a grudge, and I use the word, he has great disdain for them. And that's just his style, which is not right for this community. As you probably know, there's a recall effort afoot in Pima County. And that's a very difficult thing to make happen because there needs to be about 120,000 signatures just to get something like that on the ballot. And then it goes to the voters and they decide if they're going to keep him or not. Given the history and given the clarity of what's come to light as of late, especially with his past in El Paso. I'll tell you something, Brian, and I was asked this not too long ago. Had his past been known in 1984 when he came to hire for the Pima County Sheriff's Department, he would have been disqualified based on his past in El Paso.
Yep.
8 suspensions and disciplinary issues far beyond anybody that I know. It would not been survivable for him to be an employee. It was overlooked. Or
wow.
He kept that all buried and hidden and quiet. And yeah.
Well, that's another issue with employers. And this is another thing that we run into in the educational system a lot with coaches. Oh my gosh.
Oh yeah, definitely.
They don't want to do a background check. And I don't mean a background check. They have to do background checks. They don't want to call former employers. Like, how hard is it to pick up a telephone and call people and be like, hey, what was this person like? But they don't do it. They don't do it. So I don't know the specifics about El Paso, but they said he had lots of like write-ups and I forget the
disciplinary stuff. Yeah.
disciplinary actions. That's what it was. Yes. Do you know any of the details?
I don't. I remember hearing that somewhere else before. Somebody had said something to me about. And it's crazy. You know what I mean? It is, and it should have been looked at, especially in law enforcement. You should definitely be looking at that type of stuff in the background before you put somebody in that position.
Anybody that's in, you know, crucial positions, working with children, working
Oh yeah,
with the
medical
public.
field. Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
The resources weren't available to look into it. And
there's
it's
something because so he just going back a little bit, he asked you to be his chief deputy.
Yes.
And I think you told me you guys were friends for a while. I mean, didn't you guys like go on vacation together? You know, why
we did
and all of that?
Yes. This was when he worked for me.
Okay. So what changed after you became his chief to where you know, was there one thing that happened?
I think the turning point, there was an incident, and I'll share it with you. I had a training request for $250 from some correction staff to do a video training interface. And I approved it. But the person who was coordinating that training was one of the instructors, was a person that the sheriff did not like. He overruled me for $250 to the compromise of potential training for these corrections officers. That's ridiculous. That is holding a grudge to the point. That was the impetus for me really coming to the understanding that this sheriff was not a person that was reasonable, that was objective in his approach. He does things based on his emotions.
Wow.
Bingo.
Think about the implications in a crucial investigation like Nancy Guthrie, because he just said, hey, someone came to me and said, hey, I want to do this training course. It's $200. You know, it's going to make me a better officer, investigator, detective, whatever. And just because Nanos doesn't like him, he says, nope. So not only is he punishing that guy, but he's hurting the department by not allowing someone to get better at their job.
Exactly.
So he's willing to sacrifice
the whole department because of a grudge he has against somebody. Grow up. Grow up, dude. Grow up.
That's horrible.
And it makes you wonder, Kim, like, I think, I don't even remember how long Nanos has been there, but it would make me have to want to go back and look at everything he's been everything he's overseen as far as investigation goes, based on that thought alone.
Absolutely. And then look at, you know, when we look at all the reports that were coming out about the beef between the FBI and his office, and a lot of people were defending him, but really, like, does he have an ego so big that like work that should have been done by the FBI, he wouldn't let them do, or he compromised it in some way because he has to be the, you know, be the one, or.
Yeah, the man is incompetent. He has not one ability, in my opinion, to be a leader, not in law enforcement, at the very least.
Yeah. Wow.
And he does things based on his ego. And that's not the right way to do it. We tell cops and police cars, if you interject your emotions in your dealing with an individual that you may write a ticket to, or you may be arresting, you're failing. Don't do that. Be fair-minded. Be objective. It's hard not to, because you get PO'd when people do some things to you. So it's hard not to. But this guy does that. He dictates. He demands loyalty, and he makes decisions based on emotional aspects of himself.
With the recall, I was listening to him on the radio talking about this, and you know, he was like, "Look, this is from 40 years, in terms of the El Paso situation, this is from 40 years ago. I was like their youngest cop ever. I was in my, early 20s. Yeah, he just kind of shrugged it off in that way. Like, look, I can't remember every little thing from 40 plus years ago.
I don't buy it. I don't buy it for two reasons. One, there's a 2-year difference, and he claims it was administrative error. There wasn't an administrative error on when he left El Paso to the day he was hired to the Pima County Sheriff's Department. There's a 2-year gap there. That doesn't make any sense whatsoever. He didn't want anybody to know what his history with El Paso was. I think in his own heart, his own mind, he knows all too well he would not have been hired had that come out. But in the mid-1980s, early 1980s, there wasn't sharing of files of that nature. You've seen the files.
Yeah.
They're handwritten or typed. And there isn't electronic databases now that are shared amongst law enforcement agencies. There's not collaborations by states to share police officers and what their work history or work ethic is like and their evaluation. I don't hear anybody saying Chris had good evaluations. All I hear is his apologies for the administrative error, which is bogus, in my opinion.
He lied. He lied.
So he worked in El Paso for 2 years, but left it off his resume?
No, he left off. There was a 2-year gap between when he left El Paso to when he came to Pima County, and he left his files and stuff. Like, there was no way for them to pull his files because it was the 80s. You know what I mean? Everything's handwritten, everything's hand transferred, all that kind of shit. So
Yeah, I got that part.
they didn't do the background checks and stuff like we do nowadays. Back then, they were looking for a deputy, brought him on board because he probably wrote down he has this experience, that experience, and probably lied on his application, his resume, and said, I've been doing this for that long and that for this long, and I have this in my background, so on and so forth. So made it look good, glazed it over real nice, and then said, here you go. They hired him. And then they came to find out later down the road all these things when they could do that. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, he's definitely saying that Nanos said, oh, that was an accident, but he's like, yeah, he clearly left that off his resume on purpose or whatever.
He tried to blame it on, administrative errors that they didn't do this or do that. They made a mistake. You're a liar, bro. We know that. You're a liar. And there you go, Kim. He's a known liar already. Okay? He started off as a liar. I have no doubts that he's lied in this case and other things. Again, like Senior said a few minutes ago, we can guarantee you this is not the first time that this man has done this.
Yeah.
So the RICO stuff, I absolutely believe he was involved in.
Yep. But he's manipulative enough to get himself out of these,
Absolutely. You saw him in Brian. Yeah. You saw him in Brian's interview. As soon as things got tough in Brian's interview, guess what he did? He started crying. I'll use my emotions to play on your emotions, and you'll let it go.
Yeah.
Manipulator, narcissist, 1,000,000%.
Wow.
Why would, in a civil case that's currently pending, and he is being deposed, which is under oath, and I have to underscore under oath, you get caught lying, it's perjury. He told the lawyers he'd never been suspended as a law enforcement officer. It was as open-ended as that, a law enforcement officer. And that's going to come back to bite him. He's going to lose that civil case because it involves the young lady who ran against him as a Republican and some of her supporters. But he'll lose that handily, in my opinion. And it's going to come back to haunt him on the perjury side of this.
Wow. I didn't know that there was a civil suit against him.
Yeah, I heard that. Good.
So his opponent from the last time, probably.
Yeah, when he ran last time.
Must have brought up issues about his past, and he lied about it. Wow.
Yep. He needs to resign. It makes perfect sense. He needs to be gone. And I'm telling you, I still feel like the man's involved in this somehow.
So there are people, Carlos and I had this discussion, like it's hard to believe, and I agree with this. I see where Carlos comes from with this. It's hard to believe that someone who's like supporting a family with your salary, with your career, would put their job on the line by perjuring themselves about something, because you're just going to lose everything. But they do it. They do.
Well, they do it all the time. Absolutely. People will put everything on the line to gain everything. You know what I mean?
I think it's their psychological disposition, though, because
Yeah.
that type of personality, like you're saying, narcissists and things like that, they don't put that same weight or
Nope.
think about the consequences.
Absolutely, Kim.
Yeah.
So I just don't buy it.
With the recall, do you think there's any chance, and just, the pressure on him now, that he would retire?
You see me smiling because I know his ego won't let him. And that's that.
I thought too.
When people get pushed against a wall, most people are introspective enough to start looking at how they act and what they do and why they do what they do. Chris Nanos doesn't do that. He's not a very introspective individual. And I think his vanity and his ego dictate how he's going to proceed. Recently, we haven't seen much of him on television. And somebody got to him and told him to knock it off, thankfully. And perhaps he's done that. But I don't think he'll give up the ship. I think he'll continue to fight it. And will it be successful? I believe this recall petition could very well be successful because the votes of this last election for him, he won by 495 votes. That's not very many where thousands, tens of thousands and thousands were cast votes.
What do you think the Guthrie family is thinking in terms of the sheriff? Because obviously, you want to be supportive of the agency that's trying to solve your family's case, and they haven't said anything publicly bad about him, but I would have to imagine there's got to be some frustrations.
I would agree that there is likely some very serious frustrations, but they're not going to be public about it. And that's because they exercise discretion. Savannah's a very public person, and we all know and love her as one of the gems that have come from Tucson.
All right. I'm going to pause that there because I think he's just opining for the rest of it. But, I understand, Savannah being anyone, I guess, if you're going to go out publicly and bash someone else, like the sheriff in this case, and you have your own career that you're worried about, like, I understand that, but I would get a spokesperson. I would get a lawyer. I would have somebody speaking out.
Yeah, I feel like that may be coming at some point. Savannah's trying to keep the class that she has. Okay. She does it with class. They're not going to do it like that. Maybe in the background they will. Knowing that she's close to Mark Kelly, Senator Kelly, that may be her door. That may be where she needs to go. They need to yank this idiot out of his spot as fast as they possibly can. And he needs to be as far away from this case. Even though he's already done his damage, he needs to be away from it now.
Yeah, I'm really not completely up to speed on the whole recall process. Like when I first heard something about it, or recently when I heard something about it, they made it seem like, oh, it's like almost a done deal. Like some internal vote happened and it was unanimous.
Yeah.
But now I'm hearing there has to be an election.
Yeah. That's how that, if you remember the I don't know, the sergeant that Brian had interviewed, the head of the union, that guy we were talking about a little bit ago, he was talking about that from before, where they were trying to get him gone.
Yes.
And somehow or another, He made it by the skin of his teeth, blah, blah, blah. And I got to wonder, I think that needs looked into too, Kim.
That was the union guy that was explaining about that, I think. Yeah, so this one was unanimous. Yeah, you're right. Was it really?
That's what I
Or
mean.
were
We
people
know.
threatened? Yeah.
Bingo. We need that needs looked into too.
Yeah.
Because there's so many people that just that have no want for him to be in office. Where'd these 400 votes come from? I want to know that, and I want to see how they were made. Because I think if they look deep enough, they'll find that was twisted too.
Yeah. I do know how the recall process works because it was done here with our local Board of Education.
Right.
Someone was so bad that you have to have the internal people, say, or you need signatures or whatever, to get that tipping point. But then it does go on the ballot if it's someone who was elected. So then the public will. So that's going to get interesting with people coming out. People are going to come out to sway the vote, right? To speak and yeah.
And I don't see them allowing this to happen again because I agree with that guy. There's no way Nanos is going to resign. No way. No way in hell. He's going to have to be ousted and pushed out the door. And it's going to be forceful. And it's going to get ugly, I think. And at that point, I'm looking forward to that, to be honest with you, because at that point is when I think all of his dirt is going to fall out of his pocket. If you know what I mean.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And, police officers, I believe, they don't have to put in as much time as other careers in order to retire, right? Because it's a very high, high risk.
High
First
risk responders in general. Yeah.
Yeah. He has to be able to get a full
20, 25 and out for the most part. Yeah. That's high end too. So.
Yeah. So it just shows his personality by being so stubborn to just retire, dude. Just
move on. You're not who you think you are. You never have been. That's the problem. You never have been who you portray yourself to be. And that's a damn shame. And it's sad that he's gotten this far with this. You know what I mean?
His whole career.
That's what I mean. They're in, like I said, we need to be looking at everything he's had any control over. Anything. I don't trust him at all.
You guys, this goes back to 1984.
And there was
1984.
There was no way back through the 80s to find some of the things that are probably been buried and burned about him. 90s, they finally start to be able to do things, and now we can find it all, but
yeah,
he avoided all that because of those things. It's pathetic. It's sickening to me. And I still think, I'm telling you guys, that if Sheriff was not the one in charge of this in the beginning, Nancy would have been found and maybe even safe and alive, because I don't think she is now, early on in this. But he fucked it up. Excuse my language, but he did. It angers me so bad because he refused to do things the way he should have. So
yeah. Yep. Hi, John Reed. If you back up maybe about, 10, 15 minutes, Chris Nanos's former boss explains that whole, how this happened. So, and he holds himself. That's where you can tell a,
yes, I know what you're going to say.
What's the word? An ethical person.
Integrity. Yeah.
Integrity, someone with integrity, because he owns up and does take responsibility for endorsing Chris Nanos. Yes.
And as far as current John, who is Nanos' boss, he or she also needs held accountable at this point, investigated. To an extent, I'll agree with that. But if this man is so good to hide what he hid for how many years, maybe they didn't know either. They should have definitely done background checks on this guy at some point, but it's so far into it now, they probably figure, what's the point? He's been here for years,
I think a sheriff is a very hard position to hold accountable because they're elected. They're the highest official in their office, I believe. Who is above them? I don't think there's anybody.
There has to be. It would be the sheriff.
It would be like the county,
Administrator, maybe. I don't. It depends on how small
yeah.
the town
It
is.
would go to like a political office, like you're saying.
City manager or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. I know, like around here, if you're a city police officer or anybody in that department, you report to city council and the city manager, like you said.
Yes. Yes.
Or the mayor, whoever it might be in your case.
And that's who has to be looking down at this at some point. And then if that doesn't work, then you need to go like Department of Justice or something and say, hey, this is what's going on over here. You need to do something about this.
Yeah. I just don't think there's a whole lot of oversight, though.
No, I agree with you. There's not. It's too small of an area. And he's done very well at hiding it for years. So
yes. Yeah, because he's a schmoozer. You know, that's what them good old boys do.
Thank you, Kel. Buddy Bear.
Is
Is this where we get? Yeah.
Kane, I never know what you're coming in here with, my dude.
It's hot blooded. It's hot blooded, buddy.
That's funny. How you doing today? If I didn't get to say hello to you, everybody joining in, I see Kel. How do you say that name?
Cowboys. Yes.
Oh, yep. Oh, hi. Thanks for joining in. We talked about two cases today: the Dayton Weber quadruple amputee, gone rogue, murderer.
Thank God Kane wasn't in here for that one.
Oh my gosh, Kane, you have to rewind and watch the
Lord.
beginning. Quadruple amputee. He's a cornhole champion. Driving a car while he shoots a friend in the passenger seat in the head. So I'm going to be following that case. We introduced it today. And then, yeah, just an update about Nancy Guthrie and Chris Nanos. So thanks for coming up here and talking about this with me. I'm going to go back to Idaho for tomorrow.
Absolutely, always.
Are you going to talk about Idaho for today?
I was thinking about it. Some of the stuff we discussed last night. I just kind of want to bring some thoughts to the table and let everybody start stewing on it and looking at it. You know what I mean? And you're welcome to join me as always. It's always an honor to have you there, of course, because I know you have good thoughts on this as well.
Yeah, we were kind of on the same page with our line of thinking of where to go next. So
yeah, there's some things that definitely need to be discussed and brought to the table, folks, as we start to look into them. Yeah, it was very interesting. I'll say that much. I agree with Sluther on that one.
thanks, Sluther. I know I can only, and especially with Idaho 4, since there's so many people covering it and like the documents are out now and everything, like you want to know what you're talking about and, don't want to misspeak and stuff like that. So it's a lot.
Absolutely.
A lot to dig into, but all right. I am going to clock out, you guys. Thanks again to Italian Girl for donating those 5 new memberships. Appreciate that. And have a great rest of your day, everybody. Be looking for Dago if he goes live later. And also don't forget Bronx Tales. I think she's going to have that
5:30 today. Yeah, I think it is
5:30 Eastern time.
You don't want to miss that one.
No, I'm looking forward to that. So we're going to get some good information, hopefully.
Yeah, I got to make sure I'm done before that because I want to make that one too for sure.
Yep. So I'm going to clock out and let you guys all get on with your days and
thank you guys.
See all these great shows.
Yes. And make sure you guys hit that like button, share this out, hit the notifiers. That way you don't miss anything this awesome lady does because she does it all that way. Every bit of it's awesome. So thank you guys for supporting her. I'll see you guys here soon. Bye-bye.
All right. Thanks, Dago. Yes. Thanks to all the moderators who were in here. dropping me some resources, making sure you're thanking everybody for donations, things like that. Appreciate you. People that I've seen in green today, Sluther, Leah, who else were some green? I think, yeah, if I missed you, typically unique, peeps. Oh, I see Deb. She turned green today. So, appreciate all of you guys. Please hit that like button on your way out if you enjoyed today's show. It really, really helps, the channel. And I will see you guys back here tomorrow at 11:30. Have a great rest of your day. Bye, everybody.
Thanks for watching, hope you felt the spark. Please hit that like before it gets dark. Subscribe, it's free and keeps us going strong. You're part of the crew now, right where you belong. Join us next time, same truth, same fire. We bring the heat and never tire. We're typically unique and proud to be a husband and wife in podcast harmony. That could be unique, yeah, that's you and me. Don't forget to like and hit subscribe, it's free. Come back again, we'll be right here with truth and laughs and zero fear. We don't always agree, but that's the show. One love, two minds, letting it flow. We dig deep with crack jokes, we called it like we see. If that's your vibe, you belong here with me. We don't always agree, but that's the show. One love, two minds, letting it flow. We dig deep with crack jokes, we call it like we see. If that's your vibe, you belong here with me. We don't always agree, but you felt the spark. Please hit that like before it gets dark. We dig deep with crack jokes, we call it like we see. If that's your vibe, you belong here with me. Thanks for watching, hope you felt the spark. Please hit that like before it gets dark. Please hit that like before it gets dark. It's free, it keeps us going strong. You're part of the crew, now right where you belong. Join us next time, same truth, same fire. We bring the heat and never tire. We're typically unique and proud to be a husband and wife and proud to be a husband and wife in podcast harmony. Yeah.